of goes, and they ultimately lose those games.
Troy says McAfee covered that and said that they're not doing that. I hope that is the case. It was going to be proposed with the Rules Committee to see if it got any traction. I know when Moose, Daryl Johnson, was on our show talking about the UFL, that the XFL kickoff was a non-starter for the USFL folks. They said that it is their research, and Americans, they like the excitement of the football kickoff, even if there's not a return, that it just looks like it's football. And I sort of agree with Moose on that. Brownie's back with us on Monday. He had the week off vacation-wise, and I appreciate the whole staff up here because everyone jumped in and helped with booking guests and everything this week. I appreciate everyone doing that. EG got us O's, the mentalist today. Little T was helping out. Big T was helping out here. Lance was. Rockstar, Forrester. Everybody was sending me suggestions on who to get on the show this week. It was a lot of fun. I booked Monday so Brown can ease back in next week. So we got Danny Kanell and T-Bob on Monday. We look forward to that. And a lot of fun until we get ready for football again, which rolls your way in 169 days. Nice. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store. Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to NextRound.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to NextRound.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. While we're changing the game yet again, Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the Next Round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Sanford tries to punch their ticket tonight. UAB got the double bye with a big win yesterday. Auburn and Alabama get the double bye, and we're rolling towards March Madness. You can sign up for our TNR Bracket Challenge right now, presented by our friends at MyBookie. Just go online, nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. You'll see everything there. If you're already in the chat room, we got a link for you to sign up now. Secure your place for the big event coming up. Brownie's back, LT's here, Jim Dunaway, everybody behind the glass and out in the lobby and back in the command center as we roll on today. Brownie, welcome back, man.
Hey, it's good to be back. Did I miss anything?
You missed O's.
Tony with an eye. I
Tony
saw
with
that
an eye.
in the airport. That was incredible.
You missed that. I don't think anything significant happened though last
That's
week.
Good.
No. We rolled through some football and some basketball, so nothing significant.
Yeah.
We will get to a lot of football and some big NFL stuff happening last night.
Yeah,
And,
got a lot of that in 4 downs. Your boy Baker Mayfield. Again, pulling for the guy. It was
Time
a
to bake.
nice year. Oh, my God. Giving him $100 million.
Time to bake,
It's only
Dunaway.
$33.3 million a year.
And I love how they tried to paint it. They were like, his 28 touchdown passes were the 7th most in the NFL this year. So we're going to go out. He had a career year.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Tommy Maddox. Do you remember when he gets drafted in the first round? And
Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn.
Well, I think more Tommy Maddox because Tommy Maddox, goes out of the league, starts selling insurance, and then he comes back into the league and has one really good year, and then he disappears again.
Really great year last year. Got us to the playoffs with a spectacular 9-8 record, and look forward to riding with Baker Mayfield for the next 3 years. Who knows? At least it's not Russ. We'll get to all that coming up. But let's start with a little basketball. Brought to you by our friends at Autograph, right? Big news right now. We're excited to be working with Autograph, co-founded by the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. Tom Brady now part of the show today. The Autograph app is where your fandom lives. The app gives diehard fans like you access to all the best college sports content, fan challenges, and exclusive rewards. And like crazy discounted tickets, you can get that there as well, and some exclusive merchandise and a lot more. You can unlock the rewards like these just for doing the things you already do as a fan, like listening to this podcast, following news on your team, and sharing your favorite content and a lot more. Download the free Autograph app today. It's called Autograph. It's in the Apple App Store. Use the referral code TNR. Use that code TNR. And we'll see you at the game. That's Autograph app, Autograph, the Apple App Store, the promo code TNR. Do that for us today. So I'm in Tuscaloosa. Taylor's in Auburn this weekend. Both teams win. Easier for Auburn, not for Bama. We'll start with that game over in Tuscaloosa, where this Arkansas team, we know they have a talented roster, but Alabama's a little beat up. Ryland may be out maybe the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament if they last that long. He's at least out of Nashville.
And they missed him Saturday.
They did. Mark Sears a little banged up. He's on the bike having to stretch out a lower extremity left leg injury. Couldn't keep that loose. Pre-game, back spasms for Estrada. He's getting electronic treatment over on the sidelines every time he's out. Every time Reitzel comes out, he's going in the back and getting fluids because he hadn't played a lot because he missed 4 games. That team fought uphill all day long and then luckily got it to overtime and won the game.
Yeah, Brett, I don't know how much you got to watch. I don't know when you were traveling back from Florida this past week. But watching that game, I mean, Arkansas blowing a 15-point lead, how Alabama won that game is amazing. And Arkansas was so sloppy with the basketball in the second half. 8 turnovers in the second half. Their final shot in regulation was one of the worst drawn-up shots I've ever seen.
That's how you get to be 15 and 15.
Yeah. Musselman was a guy, Musselman's an unlikable guy, but I thought he was a really, really good coach coming to this year. I don't know what happened. But back to Alabama, I think there's issues. I don't know what's going on with them. I know they're soft. I know they don't play really good defense.
They're not healthy.
That doesn't help either this time of year.
Yeah, I get that. And again, I think Rylan Griffin being out was a factor, but Wrightsell was back in, and he was the difference in the game ultimately.
Difference in the game.
I mean, is this one of those situations from being, or I know you're no doctor, Jim, and you're certainly not Nate Oates, but from witnessing it with your own two eyes and seeing all the injury issues, and knowing that the selection committee says they really don't take the tournament into account unless a team that is not in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament, wins their conference tournament. That's really the only time they pay attention to the conference tournaments. Is this a situation where Alabama might benefit from losing Friday night and getting healthy?
Here's the only thing I would say about that.
Okay.
I think Bama could drop to a 5, right?
Well, that's no.
Yeah.
But my disclaimer to that was if the committee truly does not value these conference tournaments, which they've always said they don't.
Yeah, I don't believe that, though.
Yeah, I think last year we saw the conference tournaments move the seed line 0.
Yeah, I mean, we've got
0.
at least 1 year of evidence that says it is true.
But go ahead.
I don't know why they
Well, I
would.
was just going to say, I don't know about you guys. I believe Sanford is a 10.5-point favorite. It's going to beat East Tennessee State. Nice little run for the Bucks. Coming back from 20 down to Chattanooga. We had Chattanooga -6, by the way. Terrible loss. But I think Sanford's going to get in this tournament. And can you imagine, this committee, would you be shocked at all if Alabama 5 versus Sanford 12?
No.
No.
Or 4-13 for Auburn or Alabama.
They used to do that. They did Alabama, South Alabama. Back in the day, they did that to Wimp. Was that in the 90s? They did that to
Seemed
Wimp,
like it was
or
early
late
90s,
80s, maybe, early 90s.
Ronnie Arrow.
But let's hear from Nate Oates first on Wrightsell, and then I'll answer a couple of Brown's questions there. Here's Latrell Wrightsell, or excuse me, it's Nate Oates, Cut One Rockstar, on Latrell Wrightsell, who had come back, played a few minutes, but this was his first extended playing time, and he was huge down the stretch in the second half.
We need him in a bad way. I feel like if we'd have had him, with those games he was out, we definitely would have lost. Some of the ones we did, we might have a league championship if he hadn't gone down, but that's some of the adversity we got to play through. So we didn't win a league championship. So let's get ourselves back together. Let's compete for a tournament championship. He played almost 40 minutes, and he made some tough plays. You could tell he's probably not quite in good enough shape to play 40 minutes, but he had to. We went to overtime, and he went out with the trainer, and he's tough. He's a tough kid. Made big plays. You could kind of tell, he's been over, like struggling to breathe. We got him out quick. Got with the trainer. Sam comes in, makes some big plays. We get Charlie back in, and he closes it for us. I mean, he was big.
Yeah, I would. Now, your question to me was, because I was on the radio broadcast as the sideline analyst, so I got to be in the bench area.
That's right. You're basically a coach for this game.
So on the other side, I don't know if I noticed any of that when I'm watching the game. To your point, him going off would have been the one thing I would have noticed. I don't know if I'd have noticed the Sears or the Estrada. Right. Obviously Ryland's in street clothes, but him going off and being, when he's not in the game, he's off getting fluids the entire time, trying to keep him fresh. But now he gets a week off to continue to work on getting his stamina back. Don't play again until Friday. That double bye became huge for Alabama, to get that win. Because if they had to play Thursday, I agree with you. I think they would have slipped easily to a 5 if they had lost this game. And then they would have gone to that tournament probably facing a 5-12. They're right now, where are they in KenPom today, Brownie?
They're 11th.
11 on the KenPom. So they dropped quite a bit in the last few days from, they've been hovering 5, 6, 7. Them and Auburn and Tennessee have been flipping all year long. They've slipped down to 11 now.
Look, I mean, again, when Bama gets hot, they can beat anybody. But do you feel better about saying Alabama loses in the first round or makes it to the second weekend?
Well, they're likely playing Florida with their draw on Friday. Oh, you're talking about NCAA.
Yeah, I'm talking about once they get there. I mean, would you feel better they win 2 games or they lose the first game?
I feel like they'll win the first one. It's hard to see this team with their defense winning 2.
It just depends on matchup, too. Yeah.
It's all about matchup.
It's all about matchup.
You can sit here and make all these proclamations now, but until you see the bracket and see how it matches up. Like at the SEC tournament, the bracket we can see likely facing Florida again, that's not a good matchup for them, right?
Well, I mean, look, if you've got any bigs that are productive, that's not a good matchup for Alabama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Florida's got that and good guard play. Bama beat them in Tuscaloosa in an overtime game and got blitzed down in Gainesville and got to play that team early on again. We'll get to Auburn in just a second. You have one more point.
I was just going to say about the game against Florida is that would be another quad one game for Alabama. I know we talk more about Ken Pom than the net, but we do know the NCAA looks at the net where Alabama's number 8 right now. I mean, they still fare pretty well in the eyes of the NCAA, and Florida is a quad win. In fact, I would say any game Alabama plays from here on out is a quad win game.
Best part about having double byes for Bama, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee is you usually don't play a bad team that can hurt you seeding-wise.
Yeah, but even with a loss, Florida might become a quad one win for Alabama for that home win because they're 35th right now. So it all, the quad stuff will work itself out. But Alabama still looks okay in the net at number 8. So a 5 seed, that'd be a pretty big fall. If you're 8 in the net, down to a 5 seed that'd be a rather large fall.
Yeah, I mean 11. Look, and I know this schedule and the out of conference schedule and games they lost, and these losses down the stretch have been to really good teams. When you look at Kentucky, Tennessee, and Florida, but if they would have lost on Saturday, that's 4 of their last 5 that they had lost.
Yeah, that's why Saturday was so big.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and just real quick with Alabama and Auburn, the one thing that stands out about both of them, they live in a nice neighborhood. But when it comes to quad one, they've got the worst house in that neighborhood. And that's what's hurting both these teams right now.
MyBookie.ag, Sanford tonight, 6 o'clock ESPN, playing to punch their ticket. If they lose, likely left out of the NCAA tournament. What does MyBookie.ag have as a point spread on that one tonight, Brown?
They've got Sanford minus the 10 tonight for that 6 o'clock Central Time tip up in Asheville, North Carolina against East Tennessee State Bulldogs looking to punch their ticket. A lot of ticket punchers playing tonight. In fact, our old buddy Brian Hodgson with Arkansas State also playing. He's a 5-point underdog as they play James Madison, trying to play his way into the NCAA tournament. You play all those games at MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus. Use it right away. Win once with it. It is yours, and it is yours forever once you win. It's not one of those where you got to win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. You win once with it. It is yours and yours forever. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. That is MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. You're not going to beat this week, by the way. Conference tournaments and the Players Championship.
That's right.
MyBookie.ag for all that.
Players Championship coming up this weekend. That'll be a little fun. We'll have a little next round coverage from the players.
What?
On our social media platform. So pay attention.
From the Players Championship?
From the Players Championship.
How about
coming
that?
up
How did I miss that assignment?
At TNR. You weren't here to jump on that
my
one.
My gosh.
All right. Auburn gets the win over Georgia. Senior day for them, just like it was in Tuscaloosa. Here's Bruce Pearl on the importance of finishing it out with another win. And then we'll talk about what Game Day said. I missed it, but everyone was reacting to this all day long, including the Auburn players afterwards. Here's Bruce.
You've coached in this SEC tournament so many times now. Can you speak to how big it is to get that double bye, just from in terms of rest, and if you have designs on winning the thing?
Well, it takes 3 games to win a tournament, 3 games to win a championship. So we've won 3 games in a row several times this year. Obviously, we know the competition in the league is incredible. The hardest game to win will be the first one. With our depth, once we get past the first one, if we can get past the first one, the second and third one will actually be easier. The opponents won't necessarily, but our depth's been really good. Our guys should be fairly fresh.
Okay, so Auburn gets the win, typical stuff other than Denver Jones hitting 7 of 10 threes, which was amazing. But on College Game Day, because of my assignment in Tuscaloosa, I missed this. But who called them the most overrated team in the country?
I didn't see it. I mean, I saw that somebody had done that because I saw the Auburn players saying it was motivation for them, but I don't know.
Motivation, not just for that day. They said, the Auburn players, it'll be motivation the rest of the way out. Help us in the chat room. I missed it. Who actually said it is Auburn's the most overrated team in the country? I want to know who said this.
I will guess it's Jay Williams.
He's very opinionated.
He is very opinionated. That's
and he's seen them, right? I mean, he's seen
Landmine Believer says Andrea Carter and Jay Williams.
Okay, that's 2.
Yeah. I don't know who is Carter a regular contributor?
I think she's one of the female reporters on there, right?
Okay. I've got to be honest with you. I don't watch a lot of basketball Game Day, so I'm a bit out of school here, and I certainly did not watch that episode.
But the players were talking about it afterwards, and we're really talking about how they're going to use the motivation the rest of the way, it being called one of the most overrated teams, and that's little chips on your shoulder can help you at times.
Well, look, and I think this team, they just play so well overall. And you mentioned Denver Jones. I mean, if you get production like that, watch out. But 29 assists, that is the most for an Auburn team in Bruce Pearl's 10-year tenure. And they completely dominated the game, up 21. Georgia never led in this game, and just a completely dominant performance.
You've seen a lot of people saying they think this might be Bruce's best team at Auburn.
I've heard that from several Auburn people. Now, that Final Four team went on a big run from the Georgia win in Athens on.
They were a lot like this team in those terms of kind of the way they finished the season and all that.
And it's hard to say this team is better because that team went to a Final Four.
Right.
But I do have a feeling like going into the tournament, I didn't expect anything from that Auburn team.
That's right.
I do have an expectation this team at least gets to the second weekend.
But what's crazy, the team that had 2 first-round picks, nobody's saying that was the better team. They lost in the round of 32, I believe, right? They got bounced.
The one that lost to Miami?
Yeah, the one with Jabari and Walker Kessler. So that team should have been the one that everyone is saying was the best team, in my opinion. You had 2 first-rounders. But everybody's talking about this team, and that's because I guess you make those substitutions, and no matter who's in there, 10 players, it doesn't seem to fall off any.
Yeah, this might be the better team. The most talented team was 2 years ago.
Well, I don't
think there's any doubt.
All of Bruce Pearl's tournament teams at Auburn have gone out in the round of 32, except for the one that went to the Final Four. So it is kind of a complicated because – the team you're talking about, Jim, that was 15-3 in conference, won the conference, 26-6 overall. That certainly looked like the best team that Bruce Pearl has had at Auburn. But again, it's a team that went out in the round of 32. So
I know, but until we see what this team does in the NCAA tournament, I don't understand why so many people are calling this as Bruce's best team. But a lot of people are.
But that was a 2 seed, the overall 5 seed. They're kind of in the spot where this Auburn team is. I don't know that this Auburn team will be as high as a 2 seed. Maybe they will. I don't know. But they're kind of in the same spot.
So Auburn 2 with a double bye. Their likely opponent, South Carolina, Friday at 2:30. Likely opponent of chalk holes for Bama is Florida, last game on Friday. Both teams end up 13-5 in the SEC. That's a great record in this league.
Oh, yeah.
13-5.
Yeah, I said I thought it would take 14-4 to win it,
and that's what it did.
That's what it took to win it. A little bit of an upset that got you there. I'd say a little bit of an upset. Kentucky's a pretty dang good team right now, but
hey, that's a team you don't want to play because you go back to their one loss over the last 2 weeks, and it was that putback in Baton Rouge.
That's right.
This Kentucky team.
Yeah, they've peaked at the right time, trust me.
Yeah, if they get into the second weekend, because it does seem like they play up and down to their competition, watch out for Kentucky.
All right, Danny Kanell coming up in the next segment. We'll talk a little football and the moving parts of the SEC and the college football playoffs coming up with him. One more thing in this segment after LT tells us about the great folks at Odie's. Odie's is the home of trivia on Wednesday and great food every day for lunch.
Yeah, live music on Fridays and Saturdays, but you mentioned the incredible food from Rodney Davis. Been doing it for more than 3 decades. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, chili, corn dogs. He's got it all. Make sure you stop in at one of those 2 great locations, the original in Crestline, where we do Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday night, and the new location in Homewood, right there in Edgewood on the corner of Broadway and Oxmoor. Get in and see Will Laver and that great staff. Enjoy ice cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. It's Odie's Tavern.
I've learned 14 years of doing this show, it is just easier to admit when you're wrong as soon as you possibly can about something.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to die on that hill.
Okay. What'd you miss on?
I missed on Kyle Filipowski on the court storming at Wake Forest.
Right.
I should have sided with LT there. That
He's still alive.
That he was a drama queen and that he really didn't get that injured. He played in the next game and a lot. Turns out, though, he is 100% all Duke.
He's hated Duke white guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Duke's always got the white guy nobody likes. Here we go.
He's on the court.
Yep.
He trips a Carolina player, and then afterwards he says, I didn't know anybody was back there. I just slipped getting up.
Yeah.
BS, dude.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, and in reviewing that tape, you go back and you can make a case that Filipowski actually was trying to trip the Wake Forest student when he got hurt.
Yeah, and that was another loser for me. Watching that game and having to pull for Duke. There's nothing worse than pulling for a team you hate, and then they don't cover.
Yeah,
it does sound bad.
So you had Duke trying to cover in that one?
I had Duke minus 5.5, and really Carolina controlled that entire game. Now, Cormac Ryan, the kid from Notre Dame, couldn't miss.
Yeah, so I'm wrong on Filipowski. I should have sided with you, LT, that he wasn't hurt. He was a drama queen, and then he goes in and continues that great Duke tradition of tripping a North Carolina player in a big game.
Got to be there, man.
Grayson Allen somewhere and saying, hey, that's my move, dude. Don't do that. Don't do that. When we come back, we'll talk a little football. Danny Kanell. Those automatic buys for the Big Ten and the SEC, we'll see what Kannell thinks about that. They seem to be slipping away. And the changing guard in Tuscaloosa. Some thoughts from Danny when we come back here on the next round, being brought to you in part today by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Try to stay in shape, jumpstart your weight loss, or maybe control your blood pressure or your cholesterol. All you have to do is go to Way to Wellness. Their website is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free. There's Leslie talking to our team a few months ago. You can go there and get that free consultation and find out how a plan designed for you can help you eat healthier in 2024. It's all right there. It's Way to Wellness. The website, again, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunsford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
I got a chance to call a little college baseball this weekend. I was just telling him I did the sidelines for Bama basketball and then did 2 9-game doubleheaders without an analyst. So
Oof.
if I lose my voice today, that's what happened. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor.
Only the voices in your head were with you, right? Yes.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, the rest of the gang here with us. And we're about to talk a little football with the show I listen to on the way in the morning, Dusty and Danny on Sirius XM. They get me up and going in the morning, and I cannot tell you how many times I scream in the car at our next guest, Brownie. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh, you get upset with Danny Kanell?
Danny Kanell. Every morning, man.
He is with us now from SiriusXM. As Dunaway said, Dusty and Danny. Danny Kanell on Twitter is where you follow him. What is up, Danny? How are you?
What's up, fellas? How we doing? Great to be on with you. Fan of your show as well. You know, Jim was just talking about, calling some baseball this past weekend. College baseball is one of my favorites. One of the things I missed the most when I was at ESPN, I used to get to call college baseball in the spring. So I called several regionals, several super regionals, never got called up to the big leagues to get to Omaha. I think college baseball is some of the best. It's like one of the best kept secrets out there. I love covering college baseball, but it's great to be on. I know we're talking football. It's great to be on with you guys.
One of the things you don't want, though, in the first of a 9-inning doubleheader each is a 20-13 game between nationally ranked Alabama and Lipscomb. I was sitting here going, are you kidding me? We're going to be here all day.
20-13?
Yeah, 20-13.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Hey, I don't know what the number was, and final thing on baseball, Danny, but you being a Florida State guy, Mike Martin,
wow.
So painful watching that guy go to Omaha and unable to win a championship. I mean, how many College World Series appearances was? And, just percentages. You would think you get to one of these, you find a way to win one. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the more perplexing things about, his career is how he didn't at least get one championship. I mean, the amount of success he had, the amount of trips he had. Early, I know there was a style of play philosophy. When they used to play at Rosenblatt, used to come in with bombers, and his play was a little bit more defense and, a little bit more of the small ball type play. And then you figured, all right, well, maybe when they moved stadiums, brought things in a little bit, that could be the opportunity. For whatever reason, it didn't go, though. But I played my first 2 years for 11, as they called them. And, as much as I love playing for Coach Bowden and rave about him as a human being, I would put Mike Martin on the same pedestal right there as far as what he meant as a coach to the players that came through there. Just an absolute legend, both on and off the field. And sad, it's a sad day for Florida State. And, in the last couple of years, we've lost two legends of the sports that they coached in. But, he was an unbelievable coach. And just one of the more inexplicable things. Sometimes luck comes into play, but just could not get it done.
Danny Kanell with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Dusty and Danny in the morning, Sirius XM. You also see Danny on CBS Sports. And I want to talk to you first about Florida State's home in the ACC. As we play this thing out, landscape in the future, do you think Florida State's on the move sooner rather than later? Is that something, as a STEAM alum, you hope they'll find a home in the Big Ten or the SEC?
It depends on what you mean sooner rather than later. Like, is soon before the 2036, the time the TV contract goes out? Then yes, I definitely hope it's sooner than that. I ultimately, when I had this conversation, if you would have asked me this 6 months ago, I was still kind of holding out hope that they would be able to survive and stay in the ACC, because I don't like the conference realignment. I don't like the fact that we're morphing into these two super leagues that we're eventually going to get to. I like regionality. I like, as much as it's kind of driven me crazy, I like the conference bragging rights and the different styles of play and being able to test your mettle against each other in non-conference games, as opposed to going to this one, super league, which it feels like we're going. But to answer your question, I do think it'll be sooner rather than later. I would guess in the next 2 or 3 years is probably when you see Florida State fight their way out of the ACC. Again, I don't like that there's an ugly exit. I don't like the way it's all played out publicly. And Florida State has kind of put it all out there, on full display and had to take the ACC to court. I wish there was a better way we could do this. But unfortunately, that is the harsh reality of the world that we live in. And as Florida State's board has pointed out several times, long term, it's just not sustainable financially to try to make up for the gap that you have to go to your boosters and you have to raise those funds to make up for that $40-50 million a year, and it's not sustainable. So they had to do what the college football world has dictated to them, and that's be a part of the future of college football, which at the higher end of the game feels like it's going to be in the Big Ten or SEC.
Danny Kanell is with us, CBS and Sirius XM. Dusty and Danny in the morning on Sirius XM. They do a great job there. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Long term, I'm going to leave UCLA out of this because I don't think they belong in this question. Long term, more success in their new home, Texas, Oklahoma, or USC?
Long term, I do think, that's a great question. I'll say Texas, and it does feel like I'm trying to guard against recency bias, because Oklahoma would probably be the Like if we asked this 2 years ago, it'd be Oklahoma. So
right.
you have to look at program health, where it's all been. On Cover 3, we actually ranked like the top 10 football programs like right now. And it was really tricky. There were like hands down, there were like top 4 or 5, and Texas was in that every time. Oklahoma was not, USC was not. For that jogging my memory, I'll say Texas. I mean, they really are coming in with some momentum. They have stability at their head coach. They do have resources that can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the SEC. They have, access to recruiting, which is huge, and having, players within the state being from Texas, being able to pull from the area. And then I would probably say Oklahoma would be next. But then I think you also have to consider the quality of the Big Ten. That opens up the door for USC to enter this conversation. But the Big Ten, I think, is going to be fascinating to see different styles of play, because I've been one that's been very critical of Big Ten's offenses and saying, are we sure those Big Ten defenses aren't a little bit overrated? Because those Big Ten offenses weren't really challenging them with modern concepts and being able to, run a lot of RPOs and run a lot of these high-flying offenses. So we're about to find out. And I do think maybe the Big Ten defenses are going to have more success against USC's offense than we think. And there's a lot of uncertainty about the travel, what that could mean. And the fact that you're pairing up USC going with other quality opponents that are going with it. I'll say it's in the order of Texas, Oklahoma, then USC.
Sticking in the Big Ten, only in Columbus could you be 56-8, 39-3 in conference, and people want a new head coach. Now, it looks like Ryan Day, after losing 3 consecutive games to Michigan, is all in. I mean, you get Chip Kelly, Quinshon Judkins. Now you've got a quarterback in Will Howard. How improved will they be at the quarterback position with Will Howard, or are you buying Ohio State this year?
I am. I don't see how you can't. I'm buying them to win the Big Ten for sure. I think it's going to be really tough for anybody to overtake Georgia and the talent they have coming back and the juggernaut they are. But as far as Ryan Day goes, one of the best parts about them losing to Michigan 3 years in a row, there's nothing, Ohio State fans won't like this, but it actually did light a fire under their collectives, all of them. Like for people to come to the table and say, we're sick and tired of this. We don't want to lose anymore. What's it going to take for us to go out and get the best talent in the country, which is why they've been able to do it, why they can get in these bidding wars and go outbid everybody else to get a guy like Will Howard, to get Caleb Downs, to get Quinshon Judkins, and say, whatever it takes, we're sick and tired of it. So it is sort of a blessing in disguise. But I also think the upgrade, it's tricky to call it an upgrade when you go from the former mentor going to mentee, but I do think the relationship that Ryan Day has with Chip Kelly, I think that's going to be a really good marriage, because they're similar philosophically, but I do think it'll help alleviate some of the game day responsibilities to Ryan Day, where sometimes he's gotten away from it or hasn't, the overall, because it's been a knock against Ohio State. You could tell it bothered Ryan Day after the Notre Dame game. It was like, people said we couldn't be physical. Well, it didn't really matter against the Notre Dame. It was more of a question against Michigan. And that's been the question. So now he can kind of look at the overall big picture of this team and say, all right, maybe we do need to be physical up front and on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe we do need to make slightly different tweaks in game day, preparation and game day play calling. And now that he can kind of have some of that taken off his plate and give it over to Chip, I think that'll be a huge benefit. And I don't think this is anything anybody else hasn't said. And I like Bill O'Brien, but I think, they lucked into having Bill O'Brien go take the BC job, getting Chip Kelly to come be their offensive coordinator, because of the relationship they have, and because for Will Howard specifically, I think he's somebody that's really going to flourish in Chip and Ryan Day's system, because he's pretty athletic. He can run. He can take advantage of in the game. He's got a big-time arm. So I do think that offense is going to get much improved from what it was last year.
You're a Florida guy, chum in the water. This is what this question is. Why not, if we go to 14, why not an automatic bye for the SEC champion, Danny? Why not?
Oh, I mean, I think it's just the overall fairness of the sport. I mean, I think even you have to always protect against every situation, because here's the thing that bothers me. Most of the years, it probably is going to be the SEC or Big Ten champ, right? They just already have that reputation coming in. If there's a 1 or even 2-loss team, we've already seen the committee and the people that make these decisions. They're not afraid to give the nod to the SEC, or really the SEC. I mean, the Big Ten, yes, Ohio State got in without winning its division, but they're not afraid to say, we don't have to just watch undefeated and give that the ultimate prize. Like, you can have a one-loss team be ranked over an undefeated team. We've seen that. So I would say 9 times out of 10, the SEC and Big Ten are going to get that. But what about the times that maybe there's a Clemson or there's a Florida State or a Miami or a team from the Big 12? A team that goes and runs the table and has a pretty, like Clemson, this upcoming year's schedule will be a great example. If they beat Georgia week 1, which is a massive if, but in this future landscape, if they schedule out a conference like that, and then they go through a year where they would beat Florida State, they would beat a Miami, they would beat some of these other top tier teams, a Notre Dame, and they're undefeated, why would, like, that to me would be incredibly unfair, and the optics of that would be very, to me, unhealthy to the sport, where a lot of people outside the SEC and Big Ten already look at it with a lot of speculation, saying, oh, the game is tilted way too much in favor of the SEC and Big Ten. Why would we want that to continue? Why not at least protect? So if there is a deserving, team that's outside the Big Ten or SEC that is undefeated, that did have a quality schedule, why wouldn't we protect that from happening? So I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to get the automatic bye, but I'm glad that the ACC and Big 12 have, at least clapped back against that.
But this week I will watch teams I have not watched play basketball all year, simply because I know it's for a spot in the tournament. In college football, there's just nothing they can really do to replicate that. I mean, that's like, and I don't know that they're trying to do that, Danny, but you cannot replicate that in football. It's just not going to translate the same way.
Correct. But doesn't that make it more compelling if those top twos are still open going into championship week?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't
that make it more compelling? Because you'd have more teams to be fighting for that. That's why I think it's better to leave it open and still, like, that's the protection I think that the new format, whether it's 12 or 15 or 14, has against, because the biggest knock against expanding the playoffs is, the regular season's not going to matter. The regular season's going to become irrelevant. But that's why I think some of the protections that are in there, first round bye, incentivizing getting a home playoff game, like seeding should still matter. That protects against a team from resting their starters in a championship game, resting them the back end of the season, saying, you know what, we're already locked in. We know where we're going to be. That's why I do think that as much things as you can keep up for grabs where you need to impress and keep winning will protect against that, regular season. Because I think November is going to matter way more than it's ever mattered before.
Yeah, I will say the 1 seed had no meaning in the 14 playoff. I mean, it was nice.
Right.
It was an honor. But, I mean, you were no better off being the 1 than the 4 in the 14.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't matter at all whatsoever, except for Florida State when they had to travel and play Oregon in the Rose Bowl when they were undefeated.
That is true.
Yeah, you could have played that on another planet. It wouldn't have mattered. Hey, if I put the number at a half, the over-under at a half, Kalen DeBoer championships, national championships at Alabama, over the half, under the half?
If he survives the first 3 years, then it's over. You should be able to win at Alabama, and he's proven he can win everywhere he's been. But to me, that's why it's so crucial for him to get off to a strong start. Because we know he's a good coach. We know his past track record. But what we don't know is how that fits in the SEC. And if history tells you, the SEC is one of those unique places where it is different. I mean, it just means more is one of the most accurate, catchphrases and mottos that we've ever seen, because it does mean more in the SEC. And it means especially more at Bama. And what happens if they go 8-4 this year? Like, all of a sudden, he's almost in the hot seat year 2, which is insane that we would even say that. But we all know the reality of what will be happening in Tuscaloosa if that's the case. And, God forbid it's, losing to some teams that you haven't lost to in 15 years, losing to a Kentucky, or somebody like that. I don't even know if they're on their schedule next year, but you know what I mean? Like, losing a game you're not supposed to at Bama. Like, all of a sudden that comes. But if he comes in, and I don't think he has to win right away. I don't think he has to go to the playoffs right away. I think if he goes 9-3, which is right around the win total where it is, 9-3, I think you're all right, we can feel like we can work with this. Then you give him a full recruiting cycle, and then you kind of build. But again, you're still looking at him. I think the Bama fans are, with some skepticism, and that bar has been set so high. So for me, I think it all depends on whether he survives those first 3 years. But if he does, and if they are patient in air quotes, because nobody's patient in this country at any place, but especially in the SEC. If they're patient with him and support him and give him the full backing like they gave Nick, then yeah, I think he should win one.
Damn it, Danny. How do you come on here, Danny, and not say anything negative about the SEC? You so positive. This is not. I mean, this is like going to see
Ric Flair and he doesn't give me the woo or any of that.
Because I'm not that bad. I'm not. So that's the thing to me has always been, a lot of it's been blown out of proportion. But I will say this, over the past 5 years, 8 years, I haven't been able to have as much fodder because I don't, like, the SEC has become this dominant force. And when I got into broadcasting, I was coming out totally new to the game, was kind of back in college football after being in the NFL and being a professional athlete for 10 years. And I remember working at ESPNU in Charlotte, and it was around the time the LSU-Bama rematch took place, and Oklahoma State was there. And it just kind of bothered me that it was just accepted that you'd have 2 one-loss teams and one lost, and it was like, well, why are we going with this one? Like, and it was just SEC is better. And we heard a term a lot that was the SEC is head and shoulders above everybody else. So I would always push back against it and kind of remind people, it's like, hey, wait a second, there's other, conferences that play tackle football as well. And so I really leaned into that, but I also really believed it. And I do think, like, and you went back, if you looked at the NFL draft numbers, it was tight. Like, the SEC was the most, maybe it was the ACC 1 year, maybe it was the Big 12, maybe it was the Pac-12 1 year, who would be like only 2 or 3 players less drafted. And then, like, it wasn't that big of a disparity. And so, like, that narrative kind of started, and they started their run, and then slowly but surely you saw that gap as they tried to say it more and started emphatically making the case the SEC is king, the SEC is best, and then started using it to recruit, using it to get new TV deals. It started to become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I give them a ton of credit for doing it, but the more times you said it, the more times people believed it. So then all those things that they get accused of, and at the time, I didn't feel it was valid. Like, you got more credit for beating a conference opponent, and you didn't get dinged as bad for losing to a conference opponent. That used to drive me nuts. Well, now, especially with the schedule we are moving forward, like, what am I going to pound the table and say that Florida's schedule is overrated? Like, that's really hard to do. Like, that schedule is just, it is what it is. Same thing across the board. So I do think there will be some things that will set me off, and there'll be some perks that they get, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. And to their credit, they took advantage of it and ran with it to where there's not really much of an argument. I don't want to lose credibility and sit here and say, well, the ACC is better than the SEC. That would lose credibility. How big is that gap? We could debate, we could argue, but it's just become fact. Yeah. Of what it is. And like, I used to be able to debate that. Now it's like, it's not as much fun.
Well, it's
like, I
because
could
of
be the Ric Flair,
Clemson. Like,
and come in here and make some wild, outrageous claims, but I just don't want to lose credibility.
I would say it's because of Clemson. If I ask you moving forward, more playoff wins, Dabo at Clemson, or I'll give you the combination of Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and Hugh Freeze at Auburn.
Right. It's not even close.
So you would take the SEC?
Oh, you're saying moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I will give you Dabo and Clemson, or the combination of Hugh Freeze and Lane Kiffin.
Prop bet here.
I'll say Dabo. I don't think Dabo's going anywhere. And again, this kind of goes to the path to get to the playoff, because especially go to the 2-team playoff or the 2-team automatic bids for the ACC. I think it's still going to be really challenging for somebody that's not Georgia, that's not Bama. We'll see who else kind of shakes out here as it's going. And yeah, like, Ole Miss might get that spot this year, but they're for the first time dealing with a lot of hype and expectations. And now that they've got that bullseye on their back, like, how do they handle it? So I'll say Dabo, because I do think Dabo still has a healthy culture. I think and hope he's going to embrace NIL slightly more. He's never going to be the portal king that Lane Kiffin is. But I mean, he's essentially, what Dabo Swinney has tried to do is like, could you imagine a team in the NFL saying, we're just going to draft. We're not going to even pay attention to free agency. I mean, that's what Dabo has done for the last, 3 years since NIL has been open. And I think he's finally come around a little bit. I think if he ever embraces that fully, then it won't be even a question mark.
Yeah. Our buddy Michael Alford, who's the AD down there, I'm sure he's gotten in your ear saying, man, Danny, you got to tone down the SEC rhetoric. We may need that bid someday, man. We may need that bid someday.
Here's, because I get asked all the time, what are you going to do if Florida State joins the SEC? And I can promise you, well, I'll make 2 unequivocal statements. I will never chant SEC. You will never hear that out of me. I will only root for the team that I went to. The second one is that the SEC will finally actually be rated properly, because they'll actually have a team that can come in there and live up to the hype and expectations in Florida State. So they'll finally meet what they're supposed to be when Florida State gets in.
Follow Danny on Twitter at Danny Kanell. Hear him every morning, Sirius XM with Dusty Dvorak, Dusty, and Danny in the morning there. Thank you very much for the time, Danny. It was a pleasure.
You guys, sorry I didn't deliver any more fireworks.
That was phenomenal.
I'll work on some material for next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come in breathing fire next time.
I'm sure people will still think it's controversial, right?
Thank you, Danny. Take care.
See you guys.
All right, Danny with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Hey, every season, whether it's the end of basketball season, the start of baseball season, is the season to look good, and Manscaped.com can deliver that. Listen, I was using one of those razors to keep my beard trimmed down. I trim my beard down 3 times a week. I was using one of those razors where you have to pop off a guard and pop it back on, pop it off, pop it back on. Let me tell you what I did one time. I forgot to pop the guard back on. Zzz, beard's half gone. So now you got to shave the whole thing, start over, right? And, you know, I know what you're saying. For you, Brown, it shouldn't take long. That's not even a beard. It's the way I want it, though, right? And I keep it trimmed down with my friends at Manscaped. And the beard hedger that I use has got a dial-up guard on it. I don't have to pop the guard on, put it back, pop it off, put it back on, pop it off, put it back on for different. All I've got to do is adjust it from a 3 to a 2, 2.5. And I get a nice clean shave exactly the way I want it. Just one of the many great items they have at Manscaped.com. They could be your lucky charm, by the way, for St. Patrick's Day. When is St. Patrick's Day?
It's coming up March 17th.
Yep.
17th. Big plans for
it's Saturday.
No, it's Sunday.
Sunday.
All right.
Selection
Rockstar
Sunday.
says Monday.
Sunday.
Jim
Sunday.
says Sunday.
It's Sunday.
Yeah,
Selection
I
Sunday.
March is 5th. It's Friday.
All right, here we go.
We're actually going to end up doing a selection show.
On St.
Watch
Patrick's
party
Day?
on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Everybody wear green.
The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is the perfect thing for St. Patrick's Day. It comes with 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, one for the classic trim and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. Keeps your entire body, including the undercarriage, trimmed. It's got dual LED lights so you can see what you're doing, a compact case that makes it easy to travel with. You can get it right now in anything at Manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping when you use code TNR. That is Manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping with code TNR. Make sure you're the best-looking leprechaun in the neighborhood.
No, you just got to the part where I read that while you were gone, Brown,
Right.
and I did not pre-read the first one.
Pre-read, Jimmy.
Didn't pre-read it, and I literally said the phrase, your little leprechaun, as it's written there on the air.
Manscaped.com, code TNR, 20% off at Manscaped.com and free shipping with code
For
TNR.
all the little leprechauns out there. We're back in a moment on TNR. Stay with us.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention The Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach, unless you haven't paid your phone bill. Then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. NextRoundLive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to NextRoundLive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Appreciate Danny jumping on with us. T-Bob Hebert coming up at around 10:30 on today's show, part of the second hour. Show being brought to you in part, best and worst of the weekend, by our friends at Hemp Hill Services.
Yeah, make that phone call today. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. I think it was in the low 30s this morning.
34.
Yes. 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or your business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys. Hemp Hill Services, hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
HR was one of the good of the weekend. 28 points, 14 rebounds, helped Sanford beat Furman 84-77. They're 28-5. But they've got to win tonight, right?
They have to win.
100%. If they lose, they're not in. 6 o'clock ESPN as they play for a chance to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I like them here. And this is an East Tennessee State squad. If you probably most people didn't watch the game against Chattanooga yesterday, but Chattanooga's got a 20-point lead, and they just continue to cut into that lead. Ultimately, they get it to overtime. They win the game by a point. They have now covered 5 straight games. The 7th seed, the last time they didn't cover was when they played in Birmingham against Sanford. Sanford beat them by 16. It's a big number here. I think Sanford flexes. Sanford did not play good basketball until like the last 5 minutes of the first half yesterday, and that went into the second half, and they ended up pulling away from the Paladins. But I think Sanford, a lot of pressure, but I think they get to the tournament for the first time since 2000.
Here's Bucky McMillan after the win yesterday that advanced them in the SoCon tournament, out to be 40 minutes away from cutting down a net.
If you kind of look at the numbers of the game, we shot 55% from the field and thought we did a pretty good job, held them to 35% from the field, and you just can't put those guys away. That last 2 minutes of the game seemed like it was an eternity, and we were just holding our breath there, but we came away with it. But we're elated, but now it's time to focus our efforts on recovering and getting ready for this next game. And we told our team before the game we wanted to be a calm team. I sent them that text, Art of War, and it's just the calm warriors. It's the calm warriors who win. And I thought our guys played calm even when we got down. So very proud of them. Time to recover, time to gear up for a championship game.
Yeah, I will say Bucky had an interesting. I actually had a chance to visit with him a little bit. I went to the Saturday before I left town. I went to the Sanford Citadel game. It was their final regular season home game.
How many people they rest their starters?
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I talked to Bucky after the game, and Martin Newton, the athletic director, and everybody, and our buddy Skip Welburn, who's an assistant there, and everybody was saying the same thing. They got really banged up, and Bucky realized, look, I can either force my guys to play injured through the regular season and not have them healthy for the postseason, or I can embrace this and say, look, do I want to win the regular season championship? Of course I do. Do I want to win as many games as possible? Of course I do. But the only thing that really matters is the tournament.
Yeah.
So he rested guys to have them healthy for the tournament. Anybody that had any sort of injury that slowed them down got rest.
Yeah, you guys tell me over the last really 25 years, what do you remember most about Sanford basketball?
The year Jimmy Tillett took him to the tournament.
David Padgett, you don't remember that era at all.
Scott Padgett,
Scott Padgett.
So much so.
Can't even get his name right. If Bucky, look, it's been a great couple of years here, but what are you really going to remember if they don't win this game tonight?
That's it. It's a nice year.
It's just like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Steph Blurry, all the nicknames you have for the kid at Indiana State, they lost yesterday. Now, they're still, according to Lenardi,
should be in.
Last 4 in.
Yeah.
But you tell me who the better basketball team is. If Sanford and Indiana State played on a neutral court, that's a heck of a basketball game. You can't instantly tell me.
No.
But Indiana State, because they They have a sort of a pseudo star.
It's a long time ago.
Well, I'm talking Larry Bird's a long time ago, but this kid with the goggles is sort of a media darling right now. Sanford should be
Robbie Avila.
Sanford should have the same chance of getting in this tournament as Indiana State does if they lose tonight. But it won't happen.
Indiana State's a top 30 net team.
Yeah,
they are. So they're viewed differently.
It's a different conference.
Yeah.
Missouri Valley's a better conference. Indiana State has been a better team this year. I do agree. If they played on a neutral court, I don't know what would happen. And that's what's so crazy for Bucky. Like, I don't know what his future plans hold. But if he wants to take it to the next level, he might get a job. But the easiest way to go from a program like Sanford to a Power 5 conference is to win an NCAA tournament game.
A game.
That's all you got to do.
A game. You're right. Make it to the round of 32, pull an upset that everybody's talking about day one, as a 12 beating a 5 or a 13 beating a 4. And you're on everybody's radar at that point.
Because would you guys say, I don't know, percentage of athletic directors that know Bucky McMillan around the country, maybe 50%, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, if you got a job opening, he's probably on your radar screen.
But if he wins a game, then you do a deep dive and you're like, damn, look what he did from high school immediately to Sanford.
And he got a big national story. We talked about it last week, Brown, on The Athletic, that was all about Bucky, the 40-year-old. We hit a couple more of the nicknames that Robbie has at Indiana State other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Still the best.
I like Steph Blurry.
Right.
And Larry Blurred is the other one.
Well, Larry Blurred is pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Because he has the goggles there.
Michael St. Jordan was awesome.
Michael St. Jordan was good.
that was from our audience on Friday.
So
Michael St. Jordan there. Tell us about New York Butcher Shop, LT, and then we'll hit one more theme before we get to the top of the hour.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to go see our friend Jim last Thursday instead of Friday. Did the steaks on Thursday, a couple of the prime fillets. Just fantastic food from Jim and the guys at New York Butcher Shop. Some of those goat cheese, mashed potatoes. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop. You can pick up the finest in all meats, from pork chops, all natural chicken cut to order just for you, ribs, their chef-prepared entree, side dishes, perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family, ready to heat at home with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Nicholas says Sanford needs to be the Gonzaga of the South. It's funny he says that because I was in the airport when we flew out to Disney, and on my flight, going with his family to Disney as somebody that works at Sanford University. Came over, fan of the show, struck up a conversation with me, and was talking about that. Like, he was like, Gonzaga was just a religious school up in the Northeast that nobody really knew anything about.
Small enrollment.
Small religious-based school. Mark Few turns them into a national basketball power. Their enrollment, they could have taken anybody they wanted. They still kept their enrollment to a certain level, but I mean, their applications went way, way, way up, and all of a sudden they become. And his point was, and I agreed with him, he's like, the window's closed on that. You can't really do that anymore because of the transfer portal.
And
he's like, if we went and got the kind of players Gonzaga had, Bucky would have them for exactly 1 year.
They're gone.
And they're gone.
Yeah, I heard an interview with Kermit Davis randomly, and he was talking about that team that beat they were the 15. They beat the number 2 seed. Remember, lost unaway the bracket challenge because you had Michigan State winning that national championship. But he's like, I had 2 guys that would have gone in the SEC or ACC, and they would have gotten good 6-figure deals.
Yeah.
So we never would have been in that situation. And you're right. I mean, one good year, these guys are gone.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking to the guy about. He's like, you just can't do it anymore. Like, Mark Few couldn't do it today. Mark Few could not build Gonzaga to what he built them to in today's environment.
I don't think they can sustain. I think they're done. I think they've missed their window, unfortunately.
Down to 15 in the Ken Palm now, and you wonder if they can get back to where they used to be as sometimes number 1 overall seed. Off of that, the one note before we get to the top of the hour, the numbers are in. After 1 year with Deion Sanders at Colorado, enrollment, student applications up 20% just with him as the head coach for 12 months. Student applications up 20%. In the African-American community, 50%
I saw that,
enrollment.
Wow. One of my good friends, his daughter goes there. It's just, I don't know if you guys have ever spent any time in Boulder. It's a really, really cool place.
I got 3 friends that are graduates there. Liz Arts, who used to be in town, Jeff Shear, who worked at WSFA, now at Auburn, and Abby Chen, who used to work here in town. All are Colorado grads.
Well, look, it's a tough school, really tough to get into, super expensive, but I would assume that tuition, like most, they've probably gone up. But what are they going to do when Deion leaves after this year?
Yeah, I
mean, do you guys think
I feel that
it's win or lose? I think that Deion's out.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like he will not be as interested in coaching once the kids move on. We'll see how that plays out. More football coming up, including a crazy day and 24-hour period that's starting yesterday and will officially go through today in the NFL. All that coming up on the show that's brought to you in part by our friends at Precision Sports. Listen, Precision Sports will get you back in the game. There's a lot of ways you can sort of tweak that back or get a little banged up right now. That includes working in the yard. Maybe you're out, maybe you're making that first dive into the pool, trying to flip off the rock and land in the pool, and you twist a knee, a back, hurt it somehow. They get you back in the game at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. All you have to do is go online, the website you see on your screen there, precisionsportsortho.com/2024, precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Or if you want to call them up, 205-512-3885. Listen, orthopedic care is better together. Go with the guys who know what they're talking about, and they'll get you back in the game. Off the couch, back to work, back to play. It's our friends at Precision Sports Medicine or Orthopedics. Online at precisionsportsortho.com/2024.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or The Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, hour number 2, Brownie's back. So LTD&B with you. Rockstar is in the back room. So too is Forrester, Tyler, and Lunsford. Melton is back in his Studio C of the Meltdown, getting ready for Lunsford and Melton's Meltdown coming up a little bit later on today, 2 o'clock, as they go into week number 3 of the show. Is that correct? Week number 3 already. 2 o'clock live Central Time today. A lot of Oscars talk today. The 96 Academy Awards last night. Taylor Korn is handling everything social media-wise. We'll actually hear from Emily Grace McWhorter, who was in Tuscaloosa on Friday talking to Alabama's offensive players, coming up in this segment. So hang around for that. This part of the show being brought to you by our friends right there with the Birmingham Squadron. Such an important day tomorrow with the Birmingham Squadron. How about this? 11 a.m. game at Legacy. It's open to the public, but it's Literacy Day presented by Whataburger. Whataburger is actually feeding lunch to all the students who are coming to the game. A lot of them, some of them on spring break, some of them getting out of class. 11 a.m. as they take on the Squadron do the Long Island Nets. 11 a.m. if you want to go down there. Tickets at the door, or you can go online and get them with the Birmingham Squadron, birminghamsquadron.com. But how about this? Not only is Whataburger feeding them lunch, top 3 schools who finish in the Battle of the Books are going to get to do a halftime activity. The top classroom is going to get a new library at their school. How about that from the Birmingham Squadron?
That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty sweet.
A new library from their school. And the national anthem will be performed by an 8-year-old violinist, Sam Williams. So just a big day with the Squadron tomorrow, giving it back to the schools there. Literacy Day presented by Whataburger and a new library for one school. Get your tickets with the Birmingham Squadron online right there at birminghamsquadron.com, birminghamsquadron.com. All right, little Alabama football. Auburn comes back from spring break, so they're about to get at it this week after a week off. Bama gets the week off. But back on Friday, Emily Grace McWhorter had a chance to talk with Jalen Milroe. Give me cut 6, Rockstar. You guys have all seen the video of Jalen Milroe throwing that has been bouncing around social media. So EG gets a chance to ask Jalen Milroe about a new throwing motion maybe that everyone has seen on their phones and laptops. Here's EG back Friday talking to the Bama quarterback.
Jalen, there's a video going around of you throwing before spring practice, and it looked like your throwing motion has changed a little bit. Is that something you're working on, or are we making too much out of that?
No. Now that it's the off season, all you want to do is try to improve and try to get better in the off season. Now that we have a new system, that's something that I've been trying to prepare and master as much as possible. And I've been getting together with Coach Mitch, who's with the quarterbacks, and so we've been trying to get better and trying to improve as much as possible and stuff like that. But it's more about fine-tuning and trying to improve as much as possible. That's the thing. Because now it's the off-season, all you try to do is build and stuff like that. So it's not going to be nothing like that. I'm just grinding right now.
Yeah, just not a new motion, he says, though a lot of people, have been looking at arm angles, where the elbow is, and it makes it look like maybe they're working on him to what range passes he needs to improve on, like 10 to 15?
Yeah, the intermediates, because, you look, he throws a really, really good deep ball, and he's got the arm strength. He's got everything as far as a really good skill set that still is untapped. The sky's the limit when it comes to, this guy's ability. And it looks like you and him are using the same trainer.
That's right. He's in great shape, just like you, Jim.
I don't have exactly that same back muscle.
But you don't really work on your back much, right?
I don't. Back days is usually the one I skip. That's usually when I get ice cream.
It looks like a really quick release. That is a quick release, is it not? Am I wrong about that?
If you're Jalen Milroe, look, you're working to get better, no doubt. Yeah. But he's thinking next level.
Yeah, that it seems that was the thing I noticed, Lance, when I saw this video a couple of weeks ago. Is it seems like the release is just much, much quicker.
Yeah.
Really, he's not as vain as I am.
No, probably not.
But if I had that muscle structure, you know what that would have been? I'd said, hey, listen, I'm going to go throw like 7 balls really quick inside the facility, and we'll take my shirt off. Will you just sit there and film me? Because I has nothing to do with football. I just want to show off.
I'm going to change my form so it'll go viral. I'm not really doing this. I just want everybody to
everybody see my back muscles. Man.
How different would our time at the Floribama be? Would you just kind of hover outside on the beach with no shirt ever?
I would tell you 100% what would happen. Every time you would sing on stage, you'd have a shirtless wingman. I'd be up there shirtless if I had that muscle
God, I wish I could see that.
Hey, look, he's going to start weights one day.
I know,
I just don't know when.
One day, man.
Hey, by the way, you brought up the bracket challenge earlier. When, because I know we're a week away.
Yeah.
You can go sign up right now. Selection Sunday is Sunday, so you obviously can't fill out a bracket yet because there's not one to fill out. But you can go secure your spot. NextRoundLive.com, NextRoundLive.com. There it is. That's what it looks like. Just look for that logo. Great coloring, by the way, Lunsford. Next Round Live Bracket Challenge, powered by MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. Go to our website, NextRoundLive.com, NextRoundLive.com. What is the punishment? What's it going to be? We will have the official announcement coming up, but what I think is being floated around.
Have you heard some stuff?
No, no. You tell me if this is what you guys have heard.
I haven't heard
because
it.
I'm in the same meetings with all of you. That it's going to be a different punishment for each of us, and that we're not going to know what the punishment is until we lose, and then we open up the envelope, and
Correct.
that's what the punishment is.
Each punishment is catered for each person.
Yeah.
And we also have a second place punishment that's not severe, not as severe, but it's something as so you're playing not to.
We'll never hear the end of this.
Yeah.
We did second place punishment one time.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And I lost a tiebreaker on the national championship.
And it wasn't me
game.
losing it, and I ended up benefiting from that. But at that moment, we said we were never doing second again.
Yeah, because
that was so unfair.
I went 7.5 minutes of stand-up comedy.
24.
24, yeah. Was that the year I had to go to Monterey, Nebraska?
I don't remember what you.
Yeah,
I think that was actually the year you went to the MAC game midweek. I think two of our favorite ones all time happened to be the same year.
I don't know if it was. Well, a couple of things. First of all, if we don't know what we're doing, we have to agree to it.
I think the other two, I've been approached. I will tell you from my end, I've been approached.
I've heard this too,
with nothing about your punishments.
Yeah,
but I think the other two people we have to know the other person well enough that there's no way he's going to do that. So that cannot be his punishment.
Right.
Like for instance,
but I haven't heard anything.
I am not jumping out of a plane.
No, I'm not jumping out of a plane.
Yeah. No, that was the exact thing you both said in the meeting, and in the meeting it was said it's nothing like that. Trust me.
Yeah. I will not do anything to risk my life.
Right. Yeah, but did we not agree that we don't have a second place punishment?
I don't think we.
I don't remember that agreement. No.
Yeah. But we will.
I remember Dunaway always complaining that he got the worst end of the deal.
We did that 1 year in 13 years, and of course I got to second place.
I mean,
because that's usually my goal. I just try to finish second.
Well, I think that's what we're trying to avoid. You got to play to win the game.
I will, whatever you guys want to do, but we did, after Dunaway did that, we said no more second. But so what are we doing on that?
Well, we'll decide in the meeting when we all get together a little bit later on. But that's right now. You can go play at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. The Next Round Live Challenge, Bracket Challenge, presented by MyBookie, obviously goes live Sunday night right after the brackets are revealed. And we got a watch party up here at 5 o'clock on Sunday. We'll be all here in the studio, and you'll get the opportunity to react with us live in the chat room as we see the brackets unveiled. Alabama and Auburn will be there. We'll see if UAB and Sanford can win their way in as well. Right now, by the way, with the SEC, 6 bids guaranteed, regardless of what's happening in Nashville. Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky, South Carolina, Florida. They're locked.
Yep.
And that may be it.
You think that's all? At one point it was 9, Jim. Yeah. How is it down to 6?
That may be it, because the other two that are on the bubble, Ole Miss, have played their way out.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, they've lost 4 straight games, and they get LSU first. And then after LSU, who do they get? Tennessee. I don't know if that one win, but right now they're on the right side of the bracket. So maybe 7 with Mississippi State.
State is 4-8 in quad 1 games. That's a lot of quad 1 games. You got the 4 wins.
That helps.
That helps.
Their numbers are in good places on the net right now.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed with what I've seen the last week out of State.
4 straight losses is not good.
Yeah,
no, 42 in the net. To your point,
so that's in a tricky area.
That's in no man's land.
You remember one of the criteria that we don't do anymore, which we should.
Mike Slive changed it.
Is the final 10 games of the season. I think that is a criteria. I think it's really important how teams are playing down the stretch. If I've got a bubble team that's 9-1 in their last 10 and one that's 3-7, I'm going with the 9-1.
I think what they determined, though, Lance, was that really just never even affected the tournament. Like there was, like you say, a team's hot coming in or cold coming in, and it didn't translate enough in the tournament for that to really matter.
Mike Slive, the former SEC commissioner, the late Mike Slive, when he took over the selection committee, they did research that found the last 10 games did not impact how far teams win in the tournament, that they were the same numbers spread out over how many years they looked at, whether you had lost 7 of 10 or you'd won 7 of 10. It didn't really impact how it turned out in the tournament. I would tell you this. Texas A&M, on the flip side to your point, LT, has now won 3 straight games. And they're the other team that is trying to play their way into the tournament.
And one of those 3 wins against Mississippi State.
Yep. And they just vanquished Ole Miss this past weekend.
Yeah, so what is the deal? Chris Beard wanted to pay for everybody's ticket. That's going to get really expensive, by the way.
The old refund.
I don't know if he did the math in his head, but how many people were there?
I think that's one of those things you say knowing you're never going to have to do that.
Yeah, but even if you did, if it was one of their 7,000, I would assume maybe most times the students are free, so now you're down to 4,000 tickets.
Okay, at $20 a piece, though.
Yeah, so what's 4,000 at $20?
Yeah, that's $80,000.
That's $80,000. Yeah,
$80,000.
Making a lot of money.
He's making what, $7 million?
If we were doing a show in Oxford, boy, I would be pushing this right now.
You'd hold it.
You said it, yes.
He said, I think was the word. I should or I will.
I don't know.
I think it was Neil McCready who actually sent it out, right?
Yeah, he tweeted. That's the tweet I saw. Yeah. I don't know exactly what Beard said. Again, that's one of those throwaway lines. You say it knowing you're not going to do it.
I think he's a fantastic coach. Obviously, he's got baggage, but it seems like Ole Miss fans are kind of turning on him a little bit, which is crazy.
Who, Beard early on?
A little bit.
His first year.
Well, they just didn't like the look down the stretch, but he didn't have a lot to work with.
Got to let him recruit.
Oh, he'll be fine.
We're about to do 4 downs in this segment, and then talk to T-Bob Hebert about the change in Tuscaloosa. He had an unbelievable reaction on social media to the Nick Saban retirement. Feels like it's little shackles off the LSU program without Nick in Tuscaloosa. We'll talk to T-Bob in the next segment about that. Before we get to 4 downs, Brandy, tell us about Johnston RV Center.
I will.
Nick and the guys, they love them some basketball. It's a great time of year to go buy an RV from them and talk a little hoops with them.
Yeah. Hey, listen to this. How about this? All pricing at Johnston RV Center. All pricing at Johnston RV Center is great pricing. Okay, I mean,
year round.
Yeah, year round, great pricing. I don't know how else to say it. And they are so confident in that, Dunaway. So confident in it. If you find a lower price, they're going to beat it. That's how confident they are that their pricing is that good. All right. I mean, it's pretty simple here. If you find a lower price, they're going to beat it at JohnstonRVCenter.com. So you need to go test them on that. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur at Johnston RV Center. If you find a lower price on a comparable model, they are absolutely going to beat it. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. And as always, remember, anything you buy there that is brand new or under 2 years of age used, it is covered by a lifetime warranty from RV Warranty Forever. You get all of that at Johnston RV Center, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
All right, working our way to 4 downs is brought to you by Slice. LT will tell you about Slice when we're done with 4 downs. Got a couple of basketball games punching a ticket tonight. JMU, James Madison, or Arkansas State in the Sun Belt. And in the SoCon, Sanford basketball trying to punch their ticket as they play at 6 o'clock on ESPN. But a big, crazy time in the NFL. That's part of our 4 downs, and it starts with
First Down.
So your man Baker Mayfield, who, great story this year, gets a $100 million 3-year deal, 50 of that guaranteed. They're going to go $30 million this year, $30 million next, and $40 in the final year of the contract if he's there. But if I asked you guys, better chance Baker wins another playoff game as the starting quarterback of Tampa, or he loses his starting job over the last 3 years, or the next 3 years.
Well, they'll have to bring somebody else in to beat him out right now because Kyle Trask is not that. Mike Evans, we talked about it on Friday, LT. Mike Evans, in his renegotiation to not hit free agency, said you've got to make a good faith effort to keep Baker Mayfield, so he likes him. I'm going to say it is better that he loses his starting job eventually, but not to anybody that's on the roster.
You know, Brown, you've always said this: if the quarterback's just good enough, it kind of handcuffs.
If he's top half, if he's 15 or better, yeah.
And that's about where Baker is. Yeah. Like, he played like a top 15 quarterback this year, but I don't think we're going to see that year in, year out.
What would you guys have done in this situation?
I don't know. It's a tough situation.
It's a tough one. I guess you had to give him $30 million a year. Is that what you had to give him?
50's guaranteed.
Yeah.
The rest of it, he won't be on the roster if he's not good by the 3rd year. So that'll
be
So
nothing.
if it's only 50 guaranteed, I mean, you 30 this year, and then you're only in for 20 more next year.
What is the average top 5 salaries if you were to franchise him for quarterback?
Probably less than 30 a year.
Oh, I don't think so.
Average of the top 5?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's probably around 40. My point was going to be...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I meant to say 30 million is less than that. I apologize.
Yeah, 30 million is a lot less than the top 5.
Than the average is top
I
5.
haven't seen any quarterback franchise this year. I would love to see what that number is, because if it's between 40 and 50, I think the way to go was the 1 year.
Yeah, it would have been 45. But then what do you do?
Well, if he plays well, then you give him a 3-year deal.
Because we made the playoffs, and we did. So we made the playoffs.
And
so
won a game.
We don't have a draft pick, right? We don't have a good draft pick. And the quarterbacks that you want would be gone by that point. So what do you do?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think you franchise him this year.
Yeah,
but if it's 45, you're only saving $5 million, and then you have to do a year with him another year, or a deal with him another year older. So
I'm just saying, I've got to see back-to-back really productive years from Baker.
Yeah. It does feel a lot like Daniel Jones. Says Daniel over there, 2 Daniels.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, it did not work out good. I am going to say better chance of losing his job over the next 3 years.
I do too, but not to anybody that's currently on the roster.
I would agree. I mean, Kyle Trask must not be very good.
That's right.
Second down.
Better chance of happening. Chip Kelly, another head coach, or Mac Jones, starting quarterback in the NFL. Worst destination he could have gone by.
Now, you're talking about Mac, not Trevor Lawrence getting hurt, but Mac winning a job.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor didn't get hurt till the 17th week this year. He started every game in his career. He doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, but my point is he's not going to go beat him out. Yeah.
For those that may have missed it over the weekend, Mac Jones traded from the Patriots to the Jaguars, his hometown, for a 6th-round draft pick. He was the 15th overall pick. So he gets traded for a 6th-round pick where he goes in and he knows he's battling to be the backup for Trevor Lawrence. But he's relatively cheap because he's coming up at the end of his rookie contract. They won't have to pick up a 5th-year option if they don't want to. This will be a short stop in Jacksonville, and then he'll eventually be a free agent. And does he get another shot is the question. You go back to his first year,
Pro Bowl,
almost 3,800 yards passing when he had a legitimate offensive coordinator and a few weapons. Then they go Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator.
Never called a play in his life.
And they sold off his part. So I don't know if you can close the book yet on if Mac Jones is bad or not bad. I think he'll be a starter again.
Well,
Sunday.
I don't think you can close the book, Brown. And I know there's that nice little story that he's from Jacksonville. He was born there, grew up there, so he's going back home. But if I'm Mac Jones, where I'm in my career right now, I want to be getting reps and I want to be playing. Yep. And if I'm Atlanta, why would you not give up a 6? And you could still draft your guy, bring Mac in because he's a better option than you got with Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke.
That's a great point.
Well, according to the reports today, Atlanta thinks they can get Kirk Cousins. That's what all the reports are, is that as soon as, and I think that window opens soon, as soon as the window's open, Atlanta is all in on Kirk Cousins.
But Kirk Cousins is an upgrade, obviously, over what you've got, but he's still 35 coming off an ACL injury.
To your point, you could go Kirk Cousins and Mac Jones.
Yeah,
and Mac could have been the backup behind a 35-year-old Kirk Cousins coming off is it an Achilles tear he's coming off?
Yeah, and that's what I think the smarter move is go Mac Jones and draft a quarterback, and Mac Jones is going to be an improvement from what you had last year.
Yeah, with a lot better weapons than he ever had in New England.
Third down.
More touchdowns in 2024. Jerry Jeudy, who's now traded to the Browns.
Yeah, if you missed that over the weekend, Jerry Jeudy traded from Denver to the Browns. And what was that, a 5th and a 6th round?
5th and a 6th, and they were trying to get a 1st. This shows you a couple of things. Like, I don't know if he was viewed as a bad locker room guy or you just had Sean Payton didn't like him. But you could have gotten much more value out of him, and the Browns got an absolute steal here.
Remember how outspoken he was about Russ, about the coaching staff. He had that altercation with Stephen Smith, right, of the NFL Network on the sidelines of some game. Steve Smith,
yes,
on the sidelines. So it may have been Sean Payton and him not seeing eye to eye.
He's also had some drop issues too.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I asked you more touchdowns this year, Jerry Jeudy with the Browns or incoming freshman Ryan Williams with Alabama? This would be a fun steak bet, and I'd do either.
I had a chance to talk to Ryan over in Tuscaloosa this week. He's excited.
I mean, I don't know if you feel strongly about a side or not.
That's great input, Chip. Yeah. Well, glad to know he's excited about playing college football.
Yeah. Did you get a key to the city this weekend?
I was everywhere this weekend in Tuscaloosa.
I think Judy is going to be in a much better spot
Well,
this
he'll be
year.
the number 2 guy opposite of Amari Cooper, who's been a great pickup for
He
them.
might end up being the number 1 guy.
Could be the one in front of Cooper.
And Joku's a really good tight end, but Ryan Williams could be the number 1 guy in this offense.
Yeah, we got T-Bob coming up here in a second. I'd like to get back to this a little bit later on Jerry Jeudy, but I'm just blushing. I'm going to say Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go Jeudy here, though. I think Ryan Williams is going to be Alabama's number 1.
That's right. Number 1 receiver to possibly the number 2, but the extra games.
Yeah. But if you were to tell me Ryan Williams definitely is going to lead Alabama in receiving this year, I think I would go Ryan Williams just based on what I've seen from Kalen DeBoer's offense.
Let's come back on the stake bet. Yeah.
4th down.
Johnny Knoxville, 53 years old today. If I asked you about a career, Johnny Knoxville or Johnny Manziel?
Now, he's the guy who did a lot
Jackass.
of the...
Yeah, it's Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah, he created kind of a TV genre.
Yeah, he's still going.
Actually, he created the genre on TV that is now, on social media. People just doing crazy, stupid stunts, and Knoxville was the guy that popularized that.
Your friend got thrown off of Twitter for what? Who was it last week?
Who got thrown off Twitter?
It was Vern Funquist.
Yeah. What did he do for
banned
what?
from Twitter. All he said was, it would be like you not calling me back or responding to me. He said on Twitter to one of his friends, if you don't call me back, I'm going to kill you.
I mean, that is.
Okay, so I've got a point here. How can you ban somebody from that? And I have got, my algorithm has notched up a little bit, and I've got to block these. But there's a new one called like shocking videos or something. And the first one that popped up, I didn't know what to expect. And it was like, wife's husband came home a little early. And so this dude is hanging on the balcony, and he's shirtless. And like the neighbor's filming it, and the guy falls like 35 stories. And then the neighbor zooms in on him hitting the ground. I'm like, holy hell. Wow. But how does Twitter allow that? But you can't say.
Is that on Twitter or Instagram?
Oh, it's on Twitter.
Or TikTok?
It's on Twitter.
Wow. I don't know. You can be witness number 1 for Vern Funquist when he tries to get his account back.
I'm going to joking about killing somebody.
I'm going to say somebody that doesn't like Vern Funquist reported him is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
He got reported to the principal.
I'm going to go Knoxville as well over
Johnny
Manziel.
Knoxville. Yeah.
Boy, a Heisman goes a long way.
It does, but he was a pro failure.
It does, but he's never taken a.
Doesn't even live in the house.
He never took an electric shock to the scrotum. Though,
I like Tyler back there. Knoxville by a mile. All caps.
Tyler. Got to get the third microphone back there. All right, when we come back, we'll talk college football with T-Bob. That is our 4 downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, just a great place. Get in for a slice and a salad today for lunch. Get that carry-out special tonight. Be the hero. Mom's chasing the kids around all day. You show up. You get the 2 specialty pizzas. You get the 12 fire-baked wings. Get a half pan of the salad. It's all $75, 7 nights a week. 4 locations for you. Get in and see the Bajaya Brothers. Tell them the next round sent you. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
And our friends at Legacy. Listen, every one of you, every month, well, most of you, have a car payment, truck payment, boat payment, camper payment, ATV payment, whatever it is. How about wherever you have that car loan, truck loan, how about swapping it over to Legacy right now? The swap and drop program is back. Auto loans as low as 5.5% APR. Swapanddrop.com for the details. Swapanddrop.com for the details. Or you can just shoot that QR code right there. It's a wonderful time to save money, not only monthly payment, but overall as well. The website again, swapanddrop.com, or you can check out Engage Checking and everything with Legacy at legacycreditunion.com. 9 area branches and a proud supporter of UAB athletics. Swap and Drop is back. Swapanddrop.com, swapanddrop.com with our friends at Legacy.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Man, what a great Monday. Daylight saving time back yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And we get T-Bob Hebert here, being brought to you today in part by our friends at Bandwagon Local Sports. We all miss the local sports department store, right?
We do.
Well, it's back with Bandwagon.
It is indeed. You can go see it for yourself. In fact, they're thrilled to move their Homewood location to Edgewood, right next to Odie's on Oxmoor Road. While you're dining in Edgewood, stop by Bandwagon for the best in sporting goods and apparel. Spring break is around the corner for the youngins. They got everything you need for your beach vacation, from top brands and boys and men's swim, like Chubby's and Michael's, to water sports games and toys to keep your family entertained for the entire trip. Next round, time to jump on the bandwagon, bandwagonsports.com. What is up, T-Bob Hebert? How are you?
Feels like a shot, dude. I don't think many people celebrate springing forward. And so to tie me in with daylight savings time, that felt very sarcastic, Jim.
Would
you like
not
to explain yourself?
It did not.
There's no way that you actually liked losing an hour of sleep on Saturday.
I love
it. If you're saying that I'm the human equivalent of losing an hour of sleep, that's the meanest thing anybody said to me in the past 2 months.
No, I equate this to more sunshine, and that's how I see you. You bring sunshine to the show.
Sunshine.
Well, you look at that, dude. Okay, that's a great spin zone. I feel immediately better. If my voice sounds strained, it's because I just had my brother's bachelor party all weekend, and I mean, it got pretty real. It got pretty real there Saturday night when all of a sudden 3 a.m. changed to 4 a.m. That was not a great feeling.
Where was the bachelor party?
It was at we got a camp up in Manny, Louisiana, on this lake, Toledo Bend. It's a very small town. We've been going there our whole lives, and so it was a solid weekend of the boys. Just constant gambling on FIFA, gambling on bocce ball, gambling. I have side bets on the actual FIFA games. I lost a ton of money, but just straight drinking beers and just competing the entire weekend. It was awesome. Dude.
Okay, there's a lot of LSU back there, but you're an honest, opinionated guy. So if I asked you, Over the next 3 years, more success, Brian Kelly or Kalen DeBoer?
Truthfully, I thought his question was going to be, who's at their current situation longer? Your brother after he gets married?
Oh, no.
Or Kalen DeBoer?
I think I'm going to go. I mean, I feel very confident that there's not nearly as much pressure on my brother. I feel like he's in a pretty good spot, right? He's not following up Fabio, right? Fabio's not her ex-husband, so like he should be fine. I don't think I can answer that question with any actual emotion or belief behind it, right? Because I really like what Brian Kelly is doing at LSU. I think he's been very solid thus far. I think the future looks very bright. I think I got some major personnel questions this year specifically, but I think when you look at the recruiting of 25 and down the road and the process and long-term security he has, I like the defensive hires. And I like the fact that he's now recruiting in a world that no longer involves Nick Saban or Jimbo Fisher. I mean, those are two neighbors that you've been doing battles with for, well over a decade now. That said, I like, so again, I really like Kelly and LSU. The reason why I'm not just making that the easy answer, though, is because why I can't really answer it, I feel like, too emphatically, is because I don't know exactly what to make of Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. Because Kalen DeBoer, like I've been a hardcore Kalen DeBoer believer for a long time now. I think success at any level, if you look like him, Leipold, Kleeman, I think there's a lot of guys that have proven that being a head coach and being successful at a smaller school, I kind of like better than going after the big time coordinator. Because I don't care if you're at Sioux Falls, if you're Kalen DeBoer, you're still going against your peers and you're still consistently outclassing your peers. And that then translated to Washington, obviously, seamlessly. And there's all kind of analytics about DeBoer being like the best on-field coach and everything else. So I think DeBoer and Alabama are going to be fantastic. It's just, is it fantastic enough for Alabama fans to be accepting of whatever that is, right? Because the bar has been set so impossibly high. But like on the field, who has more wins over the next 3 years? I would say I'm going to say Alabama I'm going to say LSU because I think Alabama will have some. I think there's going to be some kind of some explosive moments or something falls short of expectations. We're going to have to see how DeBoer deals with that. But again, I don't know that I actually have a great answer, any great emotion for that.
Yeah, but you answered that so well that our social media platform host, Taylor Korn, can edit that, and we can make that now
either way.
That will now be correct in the future. We can edit that both ways, and you've got that answer perfect.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, Alabama's going to win more. No, LSU's going to win more, and then just use whichever one ends up working out. Look, I'll say this: I think DeBoer was 100% the right person for the job. The parallels between him and Nick Saban being these get it out the mud coaches that weren't born onto third base. It's funny, we were talking to Dan Lanning, and even he was kind of talking about this, and who else was Lane Kiffin was talking about this as well, right? That these are guys who had to kind of come up the hard way. They weren't necessarily born on third, and I think that speaks to being able to handle the pressure of an Alabama because he's already done it at every level before this. So like, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, it doesn't work. What? Well, okay, he can go back to wherever he was and continue to do what he was doing. But yeah, I think DeBoer is going to be great. I wish that I mean, as somebody who wants to see Alabama fail, I wish that they would have gone with somebody else who was more like volatile, if that was Lanning or whoever else. But even though I thought the Lowe article was really good, where it basically sounds like Norvell. And who else was was it Lanning besides Norvell? That was kind of the other.
Yeah, Norvell and DeBoer were the guys once you sort of worked your way to testing to see if anybody from Kirby to Lanning and Sark were interested. The real evaluation became DeBoer and Norvell.
And I actually think those would have been the best two names out of any of those. I mean, I think what Norvell has done at Florida State's really impressive, especially if he can keep Florida State good. Because Florida State suffered a grievous wound, in my opinion. I've seen it firsthand, right? If you go look at LSU Alabama back in 2011, we lose to Natty 21-0. The next year, like that game was a cut so deep that it ended up becoming infected. It became gangrenous, and it changed the entire direction of the program. You saw like a mass exodus of talent immediately after. I mean, you had guys leaving early to be undrafted free agents just because they just wanted out, right? In that same way, the injustice that Florida State suffered, that is one of those moments that can ruin years of positive momentum. And so if Mike Norvell's as good as I think he is, he'll keep Florida State relevant. But I think that like if they remain good, he should get like bonus points. He should be graded on a curve because for not just overcoming losing all that talent, but for overcoming a decision that could really like shake a program to its core.
T-Bob Hebert is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline off the bench down in Baton Rouge and throughout the state of Louisiana. And also the Snaps podcast with he and Aaron Murray. You can get that as well. He's with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Do you think, and you've been recruited as a player, so you know what this is like, a guy like Norvell, if they're not in the Cool Kids Club, the SEC and the Big Ten, does that make it even more difficult for him to recruit because of how good those two conferences are? And, I mean, if I'm a kid and I go to SEC games, then I go watch Florida State play Wake Forest, that just doesn't hit the same for me.
Well, the Florida State environment will never be the problem. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely an element of that. If you're a big time high school football player, you want to go play in these big conferences. But I think honestly, outside of even just like wanting to prove yourself to be the best or anything sort of like, ethereal or untangible, right? I think the most tangible aspect is it's money.
Yeah.
Because in the SEC and the Big Ten, you will get paid more. Generally, than you will at these other schools. Like emotional buy-in becomes economic buy-in, and it's going to be most competitive in the SEC and Big Ten when you're talking about guys bidding for the services of players against one another. And then the biggest problem for Florida State, now this doesn't have anything to do with the recruits though, but the biggest problem for Florida State is simply just the revenue distribution. Again, they're going to be asked to, and that's why Norvell's job is so hard here. They're going to be asked to continue to perform at the level of the other schools that were in the playoff conversation last year. And they're going to be getting half the resources from their conference to deal with. I mean, that's unsustainable over a long amount of time. And it's why you have guys like Keith Carter, the Ole Miss AD, the other week coming out and saying, look, a split is inevitable. And talking football specifically, right? And so the reshaping of this sport is not done yet. When Charlie Baker took over the NCAA, he had his opportunity to be transformative. He had his opportunity to try to take the initiative after the NCAA been on the back foot for years and years, take the initiative, create wholesale change, and try to be the one who's in charge of whatever this new monetized sort of super league ends up looking like. But instead, he chose to try to stay beholden to a system that we now recognize in the NCAA and how it's treated athletes is flatly illegal and really has been for 100 years. We just accepted it that it wasn't, which is kind of crazy to look back on now. But ever since Justice Kavanaugh wrote that letter to the NCAA, they've been a dead man walking in terms of monetization, not paying players, and how they continue to try to treat football. And so, yeah, I think a split's inevitable, and I think that the timeline can be long on these things, but certainly I think Florida State ends up in whatever like Premier League sort of situation we potentially get in.
Our social media director Taylor and I were talking that if we had a Truman Show person, who would we want to star in it, and it was you. And specifically the 49 hours between Nick Saban's retirement and the hiring of Kalen DeBoer, because I picture it like this. You're the coyote, right? And you're falling off the cliff of Alabama's dominance. But now you land in the pillowed truck where you're safe. And Nick Saban has retired now. And you're thinking Saban is gone. And you poke your head up out of the truck, not looking in the right direction. And then the cave decapitates you right when they hire Kalen DeBoer.
Paint a picture.
That's the way I pictured that 49 hours for you. Walk me through the joy and then the Kalen DeBoer hire.
It's an okay analogy. Now, if it was really the Truman Show, I mean, you got to be cool with probably more masturbation than your audience is willing to engage with. If you're going to stick cameras on me 24/7. I mean, I
hear you.
I
didn't know where we were going there.
If you're not okay with that, then
I'm not shocked.
You got to talk to your producers.
I'm not shocked from a man who spent his whole career with his hand on the ball.
I did that thinking about Nick Saban's retirement. I'm not saying that, okay? But I'm maybe not saying that either. No, look, I think the only area in which your analogy potentially falls apart is Kalen DeBoer does not represent, Coyote thinking he's safe and then being unsafe. Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban. He's awesome, like I said, but I can guarantee you he's not going to recruit to the level that Nick Saban did. And it's because Nick Saban was an outlier when it came to recruiting. And the landscape is such right now that I don't know if anybody can ever recruit to that level anymore because it's been democratized through money and finite resources. And so, again, DeBoer is awesome, but we still don't know how awesome. And what if it's 11-2 every year awesome? Is that good enough for Alabama, or do they still view themselves to be better? What if he's not stacking number one classes? I mean, and Nick Saban's tenured Alabama, and a lot of this kind of depends on what recruiting service you use, but it might have been the composite or something. I can't remember exactly which one, but like Saban had the number one recruiting class 8 times. Jimbo had 3. Nobody else had more than 1. I can't guarantee anything except that Kalen DeBoer will not do that. I can guarantee that. Yeah. And Alabama has been atop the pyramid for this long, clearly every single year, no matter what, because they have had the best players top to bottom every single year, no matter what. And that's not going to be the case going forward. So DeBoer is intimidating. And he feels like the highest floor pick of anybody, right? Like the potential for just a complete debacle, I don't see at all with Kalen DeBoer, but it is not scary to the point of like, and here comes the anvil falling on my head right when I thought I was safe. No.
All right, well done. T-Bob 53.
Did not stop me from finishing.
T-Bob 53 is where you find him on Twitter. And right there at the top, pinned on his Twitter page, is how you can get snaps with he and Aaron Murray talking college football all the time with the Volume Sports and also Off the Bench there in Louisiana. Thank you very much, T-Bob. It is always great talking with you.
Prayers for your eyesight.
Right, boys.
Praying for your eyesight.
Hey, if I ain't blind by now, brother, I mean, I don't think my grandma was right. I put it to the test every day. Decades in the game, Jim. I'm a salty vet here, like LeBron. I ain't ever retiring. I'm sorry, boys. Thank you for dealing with me. I only slept like 4 hours this weekend. John.
See you, T-Bob. Thank you, T-Bob, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
I don't see how you walk around with those things. Our friends at Redmont. Bringing you T-Bob Hebert today, Redmont Vodka.
Yeah, gluten-free, 8 times distilled, locally owned and operated product. Charles Barkley, heard he was out at a local concert this past weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Which one? Mom Jeans?
No, 80s band. 80s band, yeah. There was a Barkley sighting there. But stop in, get a bottle at your local package store, ABC stores, including the Pink Package, Beverage Place. Ask for it by name if they don't have it. Tell them to get it. It's Redmont Vodka.
All right. We're back in a second. This is the next round. On a Monday live, get in the chat room. Let us know what you think. Trash is about 45 minutes away. Hang with us.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. Well, we're changing the game yet again. Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the next round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
Okay, you think you had a bad day over the weekend? We're about to hear from Kayla Ard. Now, it's important to remember that the person that she mentions in the soundbite you're going to hear is her boss, the athletic director. Kayla just got eliminated from the Mountain West basketball tournament. She's the head basketball coach for the women's team at Utah State. So as you do at tournaments, right after the game, you have a 10-minute cooling off period, and then the losers go first. They bring you into the podium. So 10 minutes from the end of the game, and then she's on the podium, and this happens.
And how do you plan to rebuild for next season?
I'm not going to be rebuilding. I just coached my last game at Utah State. I spoke with Diana, and they're going in a different direction, and I respect her decision, and I hope they get a really good coach in.
Wait for this. Wait.
I'm assuming that's going to be the last question. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. I assume that's going to be the last question.
I really don't even work
I
here.
mean, what do you think the media turnout was for the Mountain West losing coach, Utah State?
Pretty small.
Probably
and,
at least 3.
And oh boy, didn't have a backup question ready. Do not blame him. That's going to be a hard one to follow up.
How do you think your tenure will be remembered at Utah State?
Wow.
Okay.
We had a little combination, Rocky, of Blossom and Hope Solo in the coach there.
Like Blossom from
I see more Hope Solo. I'm not seeing the Blossom.
Well, the
There's
Blossom
some
is the
Hope Solo.
glasses and hair.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, no, I know nothing about women's basketball, and we'll be the first to admit that. But she's 22-79, 8-53. This could not have been a huge surprise to her.
It's not a surprise.
Yes.
Maybe the timing of it all.
Right.
I would say that she's wearing less makeup than Ryan Gosling was last night at the at the Oscars.
Was he wearing a lot of makeup?
Can I get Lunsford's microphone, please? Last night at the 96 Academy Awards, he was Ken, right?
Yes, he was Ken. That's why I sang a song called I'm Just Ken.
Oh, I missed that part. I didn't watch it in its entirety. I'll tune in the Meltdown to get the full 4-hour breakdown. Get off my
It's one of the
butt.
biggest movie of the year. Sorry, what? Yeah.
My question is, with the part I saw, did he not have major eyeliner on?
He definitely was wearing a lot of makeup last night.
Yeah. I mean, makeup I expect with actors, eyeliner is a bridge too far for me.
Well, I'm going to assume, just based on Saturday Night Live, and it was everywhere, did Jimmy Kimmel take a shot at Katie Britt?
No, not
He
the
did.
not the part I heard.
He did in his opening monologue.
Not surprised.
Really funny with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
On Saturday Night Live, that was the opening bit, and she was Katie Britt.
Hey, I'd be honored if
Whoa,
Scarlett
whoa,
Johansson
whoa,
was
whoa,
playing
whoa.
me.
Scarlett Johansson play Katie. If I'm Katie Britt, I'm like, they can make all fun of me. They
I know,
want.
right?
But they had to get Scarlett Johansson to play me.
She had Katie's voice down pretty good.
Yeah, I had to go back and watch the Katie Britt State of the Union.
Yeah.
And the problem was she did try to act.
Yeah.
Like, be a politician. You don't need to act.
I think there's a lot of acting in politics.
Oh, I get it.
It goes hand in hand.
But some of those, they know how to act.
My favorite part of the Saturday Night Live skit, and I didn't see it live, I just saw the remake, but Katie obviously had this beautiful gold diamond cross on, and in the middle of her rebuttal on the Saturday Night Live, and of course I'm selling tonight this gold perfect from the church to the club.
That's pretty good. No. If I'm Katie Britt, I may not run for re-election. I may just be like, this is the pinnacle of my career. It took Scarlett Johansson to play me on Saturday Night Live, and I'll never let anybody forget that.
And just some of the funny things that we notice that she brought up in that skit, like I'm in a kitchen really for no reason. And when you watch the State of the Union,
surprisingly empty kitchen,
it's almost like she's in front of a green screen, and they brought that kitchen in.
Crazy. All right, show being brought to you in part today by our friends at the Rump Shaker. Big event coming up later this month, raising awareness for colorectal cancer research and for you to go get checked.
Hey, did you know that colon cancer, second leading cause of cancer deaths in America, it affects men and women equally? If you're 45 or older, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, it's treatable, it's beatable. Early detection is the key. For more information, visit them, rumpshakerinc.org. Also, join them for the 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K that is coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. For more information and to get registered, go to rumpshakerinc.org.
Hey, by the way, just for being a nominee, here's what you got last night at the Academy Awards.
A lot of people turn it down because they don't want to pay taxes on it.
$180,000 is the worth of each gift bag. It includes a 3-night stay at a Swiss chalet, ski chalet.
All in.
A red light sleep therapy device.
Don't know what that is.
I could use it.
A portable infrared grill. Have you ever tried one of those? Does that work?
I've seen them.
Yeah, I've seen them. I know somebody that had one. I ate burgers from it and wasn't.
Yeah, but you can cook like a steak in a minute, right?
You can, but you just don't get it's not the same flavor. You don't get the smoke flavor. So I did not like it.
And for some reason, in the $180,000 gift bag, everyone got a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, interesting. Can't have enough of those.
Back to the grill. None of those people cook for themselves.
Yeah, I know. What are you going to do with an infrared grill?
Do you remember the Sopranos episode where Chris Maltasante and Polly, I think it was Polly with him, where they went to the Oscars and Lauren Bacall, they stole her gift bag?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. Well, I bet it wasn't $180,000 back then. All right. NFL, huge day yesterday. We've already talked a little bit about Jerry Jeudy, the Denver wide receiver, former Bama receiver, being traded at 24. He'll be 25 when the season starts, to Cleveland. So he has still a lot of tread left on the tires. First round pick traded for a 5th and 6th round pick. Great value here for Cleveland. And they're hoping, I would imagine, just to have the same kind of success they got when they picked Amari Cooper up off the heap.
And really, this is all about Deshaun Watson. He comes back healthy. You've got more weapons if you're Cleveland. I don't know what the future for Nick Chubb is, but if you can get Chubb back healthy, David Njoku is a really good tight end. You've got a really good number one receiver, at least right now, in Amari Cooper. And bringing Jerry Jeudy in, a guy that hasn't lived up to the potential. I think he's probably 70-ish catches, around 1,000 yards.
Wow.
I think it's a great change of scenery for him.
What do you think I'm getting in quarterback is
I
the
don't
big
know.
question. I mean, I did not think that would be the question with Cleveland when they made the Deshaun Watson move.
But here's what I would, at least if I'm a Cleveland fan, if I'm that organization, Kevin Stefanski, I look at Baker Mayfield and what he was able to do this year. And I don't remember the last time we saw Baker Mayfield play really good football before this year. So we've seen this with Deshaun Watson. Being out of football for a while, he was rusty. But if you can get 90% of the original Deshaun Watson, you've got one of the top 10 quarterbacks.
For them to do what they did without Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb going down in the first half of the first game, if memory serves.
Insane.
That was pretty crazy to begin with. And to add parts, I mean, look, there's obviously Russell Wilson coming to that division as well. That is a fascinating division.
Getting to Russ 1 year with Pittsburgh. You haven't reacted to that yet.
So your quarterbacks in that division now are Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and Joe Burrow. That's a pretty good quarterback division right there.
Yeah, so we'll see where Russell Wilson is. I'm on a text thread right now, and literally when I was going to the bathroom a second ago, our friend Jimmy big Steelers fan, was like, yuck, no thank you. I think it's good for Kenny Pickett, though. You've got a new offensive coordinator. It couldn't have gotten any worse than what you had under Matt Canada.
I like Arthur Smith.
You bring in Arthur Smith. I think he's a really good offensive mind. And now you've got a veteran. And to me, it's a win-win. If Kenny Pickett is your starting quarterback, Russell has made him a better quarterback. And if it's Russell Wilson, maybe you get a version that won 5 consecutive games last year.
$1.2 million is all Pittsburgh has to pay. Denver will pay $37.8 million to Russell Wilson next year to be somebody else's quarterback.
Probably, it may go down as the worst deal we've ever seen in the NFL. For all they gave up for him.
It's in the conversation, Brownie.
I think Denver's got 2 of them. Brock Osweiler. I mean, if you start to look at the 5 worst deals in the history of the NFL,
you'll always get 2. You always get the Herschel Walker Cowboys
trade. And they didn't have to trade anything for Brock Osweiler.
No, but they paid him.
They paid him a fortune.
Oh my gosh! I'll tell you what his deal was right now.
They gave up capital. I mean, they gave up significant capital to Seattle to get Russell Wilson. Significant. And then paid him a ton with a bunch of guaranteed, as you are now seeing, based on what Pittsburgh is paying him and what Denver is paying.
Texans reached an agreement Wednesday with former Denver Broncos quarterback. Maybe it was the other way around. Yeah, Brock Osweiler, 4-year, $72 million deal. So it was the Texans that got burned.
Yeah, they got burned on that one.
Yeah. And then the biggest impact on the field is Kansas City re-signing Chris Jones. 5 years, $95 million. Guaranteed the first 3 years. It was an Aaron Donald type deal.
Deserves it.
And that was big for them.
I was surprised, though, with where they are cash-wise, that they were able to keep Chris Jones. And look, somebody else do the NFL a favor. I don't want to see Kansas City again. Get Chris Jones off that roster. Now it's too late.
It's too late.
Now it's too late.
Yeah.
All right. The crazy day in the NFL. They're about to start their official business year on the 13th. But today's the first day that you can actually start talking without tampering to other free agents or players for trades and things and free agent pickup. So you will see a lot of crazy news today in the National Football League.
And the biggest news to watch is going to be Kirk Cousins. What he does.
To Atlanta is the expectation. His wife is an Atlanta area native, so she wants to go home.
Tell me if you've ever heard this before. They were house shopping over the weekend in Atlanta.
Were they at the Bright Star?
They were looking at schools, too, for their kids.
Did they have their yacht?
I legitimately did hear that a bunch.
One of the biggest landowners in Atlanta, the Cousins family.
And another thing to keep an eye on, Brock Purdy. He's coming back to the 49ers, but he had a big weekend, boys. He got married.
Uh-oh, Lance.
There she is, Mrs. Purdy. Isn't she pretty?
Oh, God.
Wow. Look, he has definitely done things that we have never seen from a Mr. Irrelevant. But I go back to Mac Jones, who's just going to be sitting in Jacksonville earning a paycheck and not playing. If Mac Jones would have gone to San Francisco instead of Trey Lance, I don't think we're ever talking about Brock Purdy again. And I really believe Mac Jones is having a ton of success.
She literally at that point could call him Mr. Irrelevant. But now nobody calls him that.
I mean, what do you think? It's crazy, just like one decision, what it does to our universe.
I never can look at him again without seeing Lee Harvey Oswald. And I hate that for him.
Yeah, I know.
I hate that for him. But that deal back around the Super Bowl killed me. That picture on the left, the close up. I mean, it's like Lee Harvey Oswald. If he's just holding
I don't think
communist propaganda and a rifle, I'm like, oh my God.
If they make it black and white and give him,
yes.
I don't
give
think
him
Lee
a Russian
Harvey,
flag.
He didn't smile much. Rocky, what was the name of the show that we watched?
11/22/63.
Yeah, he was not a nice guy.
Not a laugher. All right, top of the hour here. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. Best and worst of the weekend rolls on. Hemp Hill services, whether it's hot or cold or in between, they take care of you.
Yeah, trusted in Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me.
from day one, Xerox Business Solutions. They've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, this hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champy'schicken.com. Great value as well when you go by and see Sterling and the guys. Some places you get sticker shock on the prices on the menu. Not at Champy's. You get everything you pay for there. Just a lot of food, include those big breast fried chicken, brined overnight, cooked to order, all the great sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. champy'schicken.com, champy'schicken.com, Highway 119, right in Alabaster.
So March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, we'll be doing the viewing party up here for the selection show. Guess what food will be in studio?
Oh, is it Champy's?
I talked to Sterling on Saturday. We had a great discussion, and he is preparing some really, really cool things for us. And he's going to come up here. He's going to watch the selection show with us. We're going to drink some cold beer and eat some great Champy's food.
Looking forward to that. That selection show, we'll be watching the brackets on CBS right here in our studio, just like we did the football playoffs. So you can join us and watch it here on our YouTube channel, any of our video platforms, and chat along as we start to fill out our brackets together, and we'll give you some reaction as we do that. We appreciate all of you that will tune in coming up 5 o'clock Central Time on Sunday for that. Hey, the show is, we like to turn a profit around here too. I feel bad for, how do you say it? It's ARAMCO, Aramco. They're the Arab Saudi Arabia oil company.
Yeah.
Their profits were down $40 billion this past year.
So what did they end up clearing?
Dipped under $1 trillion?
They only made $121 billion in profit this last calendar year, down from a record $161 billion.
You know what's crazy is how many people got fired.
Yeah.
Because hell, you're down that. It doesn't matter.
I was just thinking.
Like the business manager. We made $40 billion less this year?
Yeah.
You're out of here.
I was just thinking, the old phrase, heads will roll. Is that just a figure of speech or
literally? What is like a CRO or a CFO for a company like that make?
I don't know, but could you imagine the pressure?
Well, I would imagine it's all family at that point, right?
Well, it's royal. Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I mean, this is why I think Brown was out when we had the story of one of these guys flew in Rihanna to do his kid's
that's
wedding
right.
or birthday party.
It was their pre-wedding party.
Pre-wedding party.
The wedding's not until July. He's getting married, one of the royal princes.
Right.
They paid Rihanna $6 million to play this party that's months ahead of the wedding party coming up.
Zuckerberg was there, and I think Bill Gates was also there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you hear about this, though?
I did not.
So she was apparently so bad and so
Rihanna was?
disengaged
Yeah.
that the guy wanted some of his money back.
Yeah.
Can you imagine getting that for one gig and not being engaged?
Be fully in. I mean, for $6 million.
Yeah, six. Yeah,
and probably. I mean,
It's
I'm
all
sure.
relative. It's probably $25 to her.
Yeah, but I'm sure they flew her in private. I mean, and put her up in the nicest spots.
We've talked about Larry the Cable Guy before. For $6 million, I think in public I would go as a Larry the Cable Guy impersonator for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
everywhere I went, and I would be in character. I'd try to talk like him, sleeveless.
They put her in the best places, Brown, and by the way, they let her leave.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And with $6 million, I mean, I think I would do just about anything I could to make that as good a show as possible. For
Not quite a $121 billion profit, but today is the day we're expecting to hear a big payday for Tua Tagovailoa. Deal is imminent, according to everyone. Coming off by far his best year as a pro, mainly because he was healthy, but also he's settled into Mike McDaniel's offense. He's got weapons. What was it? 4,624 yards, 29 touchdowns, still 14 interceptions, but nothing you can complain about with Tua this past year. Are you ready for the mega deal that's coming his way?
I mean, again, we kind of talked about it with Baker Mayfield. This is a guy that just led the league in passing. When his offense is entirely whole, they are just about impossible to stop. The problem is, obviously the downside is, it has not traveled quite well, but most teams don't, right? I mean, you're not the same on the road as you are at home. And it has not translated into postseason wins yet. He's yet to win a postseason game. In fact, he's only started the one. So, you're kind of in a tough spot there. It's a guy that obviously is good enough to win you any game you're playing, but it just hasn't translated into what you're ultimately playing for. But the other option is to say, okay, we're going to move on and start over. And that's what I always say about this in the NFL. When you got a guy that is in the top half of the league, the option of hitting Control-Alt-Delete and starting over is a very scary option in the NFL.
Well, I can see Tua hoisting a Lombardi before I can Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
So I think, Tua is a better quarterback, whether that translates.
One's a much better roster than the other two.
Yeah, no, I give you that. And the one playoff game he lost, dude just lost his hand. So, the conditions were obviously awful that night.
You missed that story, Brandy, on Friday, Fox 4. It's Thursday for them in Kansas City. As many as 37 fans that night, now weeks later, after treatments and everything, 37 of them are facing amputations.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
37 fans that were at that Saturday night game.
Yeah. Whether it's fingers, toes.
Yeah, the one dude,
in one case, maybe a whole hand.
Yeah, he was putting a tent up, and he had his
30 minutes exposed.
For 30 minutes, and he's going to lose his hand. But, going into that, they warned everybody.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was the biggest story in the NFL that day. There was no surprise that was going to be terrible conditions.
Took his glove off to put up his tailgating tent and get everything set up, doing the guys couldn't hammer with the big gloves on. 30 minutes exposed, and he may lose his whole hand.
And
that's awful.
I said this last week, though. Can you imagine if that was you, a Dolphins fan, with a loss? At least KC went on.
Yeah, I know. They won the Super Bowl. Yeah, if you're a Dolphins fan, you go watch your team play like they've never seen a football.
Did you hear Kevin's dad missing his right hand? Well, he's got a great story. This year, last year, the Chiefs won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's terrible.
They shouldn't have played that game. Was our point back on that?
A lot of people said that. I mean,
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think they should have played the game.
I mean, there's so much to talk about there. I mean, there was a reason that game was chosen for Peacock. Everybody knows the reason, right? It was the Kelsey Taylor Swift.
And it could have been during the day, which would have been warmer.
Except that Peacock had the primetime slot. That was what they had agreed to. So. And look, I'm not blaming the NFL for doing that or Peacock for doing that. That was a smart business move on their part to do that. You can take shots at it all you want, but it was a smart business move. You can't deny that.
I just think it's a better game if it's in better weather. I don't know if Miami wins the game or not. I just think it would have been a better chance for them to win.
But aside from all of that, Tua has got to translate this. And this is just, it's awful to talk about, but it's true. He accomplished a milestone. and that he played a full season this year. And I mean, you hate to even have to say that about a player, but it's true about him.
Yeah, I didn't think it would ever happen. I lost a stake on it.
You lost a stake on that. You said he would never play a full season. He did it this year.
Yeah, and hopefully all that's behind him now.
Yeah, I would hope so. And played to an MVP level. I just don't know, at some point it's got to translate into the postseason or it's going to cost Mike McDaniel his job. And
they're just not built for the road, at least now.
Well, and that's the problem in their division and in the AFC. So if you think about who's really good in the AFC right now, if you're Miami, chances are to make a Super Bowl, you need one of two things to happen. You need to be the 1 seed, so you play at home, or you need the 1 seed to be a team like Houston that plays in a dome.
Right.
So in the event you have to go on the road, you're at least inside.
Because the three teams that really scare you are Baltimore,
Kansas City,
Buffalo, and I'd throw Cincinnati with a healthy Burrow. And those are all cold weather.
It's all going to be crap weather in the postseason. You're never going to catch a game where your offense is going to be in favorable conditions.
Yeah, and meanwhile, your home field advantage in the playoffs is perfect football weather.
It is, but they can't ever get the 1 seed.
But you had a situation where, going into week 14, you were 9-3, and then you lose 3 of your final 5 games. If you turn that around, flip it, you guys are hosting.
And it's a perfect setup for Miami because they've got that setup where the visiting team stands over in the sun, they stand in the shade, and all those teams we talked about playing in cold weather, they're having to come play in 80-degree weather. And it's a huge advantage for Miami if they can ever get one of those games at home.
We'll get back to college basketball. First, let me tell you about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City, one of the great guys in the business, and you'll find that out instantly if you call him and get a free no-cost roof inspection. We always just tell you, start there with your roof. You may think your roof is old and you need a new one. You may think, do I have some roof problems? I haven't had it checked for a while. Why not get a free, no-cost roof inspection from that guy, Greg Nelson, Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He can replace an old roof. He can repair storm damage, and also that free no-cost roof inspection. He gets up there and checks for as little as one loose shingle can cause some water entry problems. So let him check it out. You can look him up on Facebook. Greg from Pell City, best pricing around as well. 205-542-3531 for Storm Restoration Roofing. If I said SEC Basketball Player of the Year, who do you give it to?
Dalton Kannell.
That's a quick answer.
Yep.
Dalton Kannell, though, what did he have against Kentucky Saturday?
40.
40? Yeah.
Well, what did he have against Alabama? They won the game, but he had 13.
That was the outlier.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. That was his one bad game. I need to know what he had against Kentucky because around those games, he was phenomenal.
He is.
Around the Alabama
he's
game.
had 39 twice in 2 games. He had 40 in one. He is by far clear cut.
But as you said and watch them now, and here's my problem with Tennessee moving forward. Their offense now is becoming – it's all going through Dalton Kannell now, and I don't know if that's the best thing for them. There are times that Ziegler, who I think is one of the best guys with the basketball, is almost walking and then holding the dribble until Kannell runs off 2 and 3 screens at a time just to give him a touch with the basketball, where sometimes at that point he is just dribbling and shooting a fall away. A lot of them are going in, but is that the best way to use that deep roster they have?
I don't know. You're right. I mean, they've got a ton of depth, and they've got a ton of experience, and you don't want guys standing around just watching Kannell, and he was that good on Saturday, but you know what? They lost the game. I don't know. I mean, Mark Sears, Janai Broome, those guys are in the conversation, but there is no chance Connect's not getting this.
Here's the other. He leads the league in scoring, 21.4 points per game. Mark Sears just missed that at 21.1 points per game. Antonio Reeves, who has gotten Kentucky playing well, he's one part of a big group now.
Yeah, I mean, probably their third most talented guy. He is kind of the go-to scorer, but when you look at Dillingham and you look at Shepard, they are better talents.
44% of three-point range for the season is Reeves. That is scorching. And then there's Janai Broome down at Auburn, who has consistently been there for Auburn all year long. 16 points, 8 rebounds. Arguably the best 5 or 4 wherever you play him in the league, down low in the paint. He's a tough guard for them. Those are the 4 that I narrow it down to.
Yeah, look, and I think Broome's going to get a nice pat on the back with first team All SEC, and there's a chance he grabs onto like a third team All American team. I mean, Broome's been that good, but Dalton Kannell, I mean, I think he is. Zach Edey's probably going to win the award just because the longevity.
And they're going to be the overall number one.
And they're going to be the number one overall seed. And look, he has played great this year. So Zach Edey probably, but your runner-up's going to be Kannell.
Yeah. I think Kannell is your SEC Player of the Year, and I would have no problem being a National Player of the Year. I mean, you can make the same argument about Edey that I'm about to say about Kannell. Tennessee, Joe Lunardi's got him as a 1 seed. I mean, they could be a 1 seed. Are they a 1 seed without Dalton Kannell?
No.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
But Purdue definitely ain't without Zach Edey.
I mean, Purdue's a mid-tier team without Zach Edey. So, I mean, I get that argument can be made about both players. But, I mean, Auburn's not a 4 seed without Janai Broome. Alabama's not a 4 seed without Mark Sears. Yeah. I get all of that, but we're talking about a 1 seed now with Tennessee.
But keep in mind, this Tennessee team was supposed to be, they were one of the favorites to win the SEC before we even saw what Dalton Kannell was.
That is true.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was a good roster that I think is playing different now because Dalton Kannell has grown into what he is and what made them really good. I thought they had the balance that Auburn had with Tennessee. Now they don't use all of that. Vescovy doesn't even score anymore.
He's made Vescovy a non-factor, basically.
He's all there for defense and assists now.
But to Lance's point, if I'm a Tennessee fan, it is in the back of my mind a little bit concerning that Kannell can score 40 and I can lose a game, to your point.
That's right.
At home.
Yep.
And now everything is neutral site from this point on. And Kentucky's a really good team. I mean, that's the type of team I'm going to have to beat to make the Final Four or the Elite Eight. But I had my guy score 40 and I still lost to them. That's alarming.
A lot of scouts in the arena on Saturday night. And you think about it, you've got 3 guys that will definitely be lottery guys. And Dillingham, Shepard, and Kannell. And
Shepard's a lottery
guy?
guy?
Shepard will go before Kannell will. Yeah. Dillingham.
Reed Shepard.
Oh, yeah. Dillingham will be top 5. Reed Shepard will be top 10. And Kannell's going to be 10 to 15.
So Reed Shepard right now will leave after this year and go to the NBA.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll be he might even sneak into the top 5. I think he'll be top 10 for sure.
Really?
I think he's the most talented. Well, Dillingham.
I haven't checked any mock drafts, so Reed is a lottery player.
Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty amazing. All right, when we come back, we'll get to trash. The show being brought to you by the Rump Shaker event. One more thing after you tell us about the Rump Shaker.
Yeah, the Rump Shaker's coming up on March 23rd at Regents Field. It's the 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K, Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. For more information to get registered, it's for a great cause, rumpshakerinc.org. Did you realize that colon cancer, second leading cause of cancer deaths in America, it affects men and women equally? If you're 45 or older, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, it's treatable, it's beatable. Early detection is the key. Again, for more information, go to rumpshakerinc.org.
I just Googled mock draft Bleacher Report's the first one that came up, but I have seen this guy's name out here. I am not going to pretend like I know who is super well respected in the mock draft game in the NBA, but Jonathan Wasserman is a guy I see. He's with Bleacher Report, and he has got Reed Shepard going 6th to the Memphis Grizzlies, Dillingham going 7th to the Spurs, and Kannell going 17th to the Heat.
Wow. Kannell 17th.
17th, but Shepard and Dillingham lottery picks.
That seems like seems like a steal at 17.
It does, but if I could have any of those guys, man, it's as good as Kannell is. I would take Dillingham or Shepard over Kannell.
2 Kentucky Wildcats. Now, keep this in mind. This is not official, but Little T found this story, and she reacted to it on her TikTok if you want to go check it out. But apparently there is an organization that isn't named in the story that is putting together an in-season basketball tournament next year in Las Vegas for the college game. It will be 8 teams. Your school gets $1 million of NIL money for participating in the tournament. So they'll give out $8 million of NIL money to the collectives and to the boosters of that school, with the caveat that it has to be turned around and given to the players. So basically it's a pay-for-play tournament.
Oh, so those players are getting it.
Those players get it.
Yeah. I love it.
So these players that will play in this tournament will get this through their collective in NIL. They got to give it to them by rule, to the collective or the boosters, and then it'll be paid to these players. And then if you win the tournament, you get an extra $1 million of NIL that would go to that team. So that team, that group of players, would get $2 million if you win this 8-team tournament. I've got 10 teams they've talked to according to this report. But Taylor's question would be, and it's a great question, we'll use Kentucky as an example. Does Shepard and Dillingham get the same cut as the guy who is shooting bow and arrows and throwing up 3 goggles at the end of the bench that doesn't get played?
Yeah.
Is it divided evenly between the 13 players?
I think it's probably up to the collective. That's why they give it to the collective. Yeah.
I think if I'm Shepard or if I'm Dillingham or if I'm Antonio Reeves, I'm going to make my money anyway. So this is kind of giving back, and it's a whole team effort. Like, one of the more competitive tournaments I've ever seen is that summer tournament where you have like the ex-St. John's players all got together, and like one of them's a roofer now, one of them's selling insurance, and they're playing in that tournament for $1 million. And dude, everybody is all in.
Here's the 10 teams, according to the report they've talked to. They're going to have 8 teams in this tournament. It doesn't say if they've talked to more, but these are the ones that they say they've talked to. Virginia, Syracuse, St. John, San Diego State, Oregon, Kansas, Houston, Florida Atlantic, Duke, and Alabama.
I mean,
what's the negative about being?
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't see a downside.
You
Maybe
play
if
these
I
tournaments
ponder it.
you play these tournaments all the time.
Well, and this exposure for this, like, some of the early Atlantis in that bad ballroom, I'll watch some of that, but I'm all in on this.
But I mean, like Nate Oates, I don't know what he gets in NIL. I don't know what Greg Byrne and Alabama is able to shave off for basketball NIL to Nate Oates. But
when NIL started, Brownie, I thought I heard a quote.
I heard the same quote, but I think that's going to be outdated. Yeah. I mean, let's just say $2 million is the.
I heard $3 million.
Yeah.
But,
All right, let's say it's $3 million.
If I got $3 million a year, I can build a pretty good roster.
All right, let's say it's $3 million a year. That's what Alabama basketball gets. I don't know what the number is, but let's say that Alabama can find a way to give Nate Oates $3 million.
And I think that's about right.
And I go play this, and I turn 3 into 4. Just for
5
playing in
if
this
I win it?
tournament?
Yeah.
5 if I win it. And I'm going to play these tournaments anyway. And it's actually helping my strength of schedule if those types of teams are in it. It's doing what I need it to do for the March Madness portion of my schedule.
And I think some of these teams will be like, okay, an extra $1 million, you know what? We're going to offer this player $1 million because
that's right.
One $1 million player in college
Changes
basketball,
everything.
Dalton Connect, which I know he didn't get that much, but it's a difference maker.
Yeah. Alabama's got a couple of McDonald's All-Americans coming in on this class that'll be freshmen next year. So they would be playing in this tournament if this tournament happens and Alabama ends up being a team. This is the kind of tournament that if you have that, you won't have to call anybody.
No,
everybody will be calling you.
Yes.
Hey, what does the NCAA generate just on March Madness again? What is it per year?
Billions.
Because I was just going to say, can you imagine if you gave every Final Four team $10 million and like the winning team $25 million?
The NCAA staring down the gun barrel of having to do this.
Yeah, they really are.
Well, especially with tournaments like this.
Yeah, no, the NCAA at one moment in time will absolutely have to do this for their tournament.
Taylor says, how do they decide who gets to play in it? It would be built for television.
Invitation.
So it'd be eight teams they think would be entertaining. Taylor asking that question. She was also asking, how do you divide it up? That would be up to the collective. Good team building if everybody gets the same cut. But in reality, I'm not sure the walk-on at the end of the bench is going to get the same cut as in this scenario as Dillingham would.
At some point in your life, you've got to understand the way the real world works. LeBron James does not get the same cut as the guy at the end of the Lakers bench.
But if I'm at the end of the Laker bench, Brown, and you're giving me $50,000, I'd be excited.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's different though.
I don't think it is. It's all professional now, and you may as well get used to that. That's the way life works. The sooner you can accept that that's the way life works, the better off you are. There's going to be people that make more money than other people.
No, look,
sometimes does less work than you.
Sometimes
I get that, but these guys are now in a spot where they know, back to Reed Shepard, that he is going to make a ton of money at the next level, and some of these other guys, it's their one opportunity. I see it both ways.
Our friends at Champy's bringing you this hour, champyschicken.com. They'll be with us Sunday for the selection show. Go by and see Sterling today for lunch, also open for dinner. Great Southern fried chicken. It is so dang good. That's Sterling. You can find him at 119 in Alabaster. We'll find trash in the next segment.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Tournament time is almost here, but any time is a great time to jump on with MyBookie.ag. When you sign up at MyBookie.ag, use code NEXTROUND for a special sign-on bonus. You can use that bonus right away. Win once with it, it is yours and yours forever. Not like some of the sites that make you win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before you keep the bonus. You win once at MyBookie.ag, it is yours forever. Basketball tournaments, NBA, the start of Major League Baseball, NASCAR, and golf. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order.
All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunsford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
Ready to swap from your current auto or RV loan provider and drop your interest rate? Now is your chance. With Legacy Credit Union's annual swap and drop promotion, you can swap your current loan and save with Legacy in minutes. Whether you're a member or a potential member, Legacy Credit Union is here to help you drive into savings. Go online to swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 locations to take advantage of this incredible offer. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
I do not see how you did it in baseball. I was just talking to Brownie and LT about doing the basketball in the morning, and then Taylor and I did the post game, brought to you by friends at McCurry, after the Alabama game, basketball, and then the baseball game started, and then it was a 4-hour baseball game with such short breaks that I didn't go to the bathroom from about 9:30 in the morning until 5:30 in the afternoon. And the last 4 innings of the game, I thought I needed a diaper. I was about to wet my pants.
I told you guys, first time I did, the first game I ever did play-by-play for in the Jayhawk League was in Hayes, Kansas. And it was Elkhart and Hayes, and I was just doing it by myself. And we went to extra innings, and I was about to explode because they didn't sell any advertising. I mean, it was a small, I don't know how many wattage the station was, but it was out of Guyman, Oklahoma. So they'd run a couple of stingers and come right back. And that's when I knew I've got to find somebody so I would get the starting pitcher from the night before. But I still wouldn't drink up there.
Would you tell him I got to go to the bathroom? If it comes back, you just talk?
And it depends on where the press box was. Like, in those leagues, you had a press box that was, an old dirt track on the outside of the baseball field, and you would have to take all these stairs back and forth.
And then somebody's in the bathroom. I remember the first game I ever went to in Jerry World. That was Alabama-Michigan State in the college football playoff. And
2015?
Was that
14?
Yeah,
14.
I guess that was it, right?
Or 15, yeah.
And I walked in the Alabama radio booth to talk to Phil Savage. I was just going to say hello to him, and they were in the Cowboys radio booth.
That's right, yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys booth. And Cowboys Radio Network, which is the legendary Brad Sham and Babe Laufenberg, the former Cowboy. And they had a bathroom in their booth, and there's a sign on the bathroom door, like a permanent sign, not like we just wrote this and taped it up. It's like a permanent, like they made the sign, engraved sign that says, under 2 minutes of the half through halftime, under 2 minutes of the end of the game through the post game, only Babe and Brad can use this restroom.
Yes, stay out of
nobody else in the bathroom.
Well, so when we go to do the SEC baseball tournament at the Met, there's that one bathroom in there, but if that bathroom is occupied, you've got to go all the way down into the stands.
Yep. That's the way it is underneath at Coleman Coliseum too. There's one bathroom. It's a one-seater, and if you're in a hurry, I run upstairs to the concourse and go to the bathroom.
Can you imagine though if you would have gotten like the runs? I mean, what do you do in that situation?
It was 20 to 13. I had a little too many runs.
What do you do in that situation?
I don't know. Yeah, and I appreciate the opportunity. I don't know if they'll have me back on the Alabama basketball broadcast again. Rockstar, give me cut 10.
Oh, no. Is this done? We screw it up?
Cut 10. Because, I take this personality, and so I go to the Alabama broadcast, and I'm doing an out-of-timeout, and there's been a questionable call right in front of the bench on Latrell Wrightsell and whether it was a foul or not, and I gave this breakdown.
Ryan Passick, I'll tell you on the foul of Wrightsell right in front of the bench here, a lot of the guys were surprised. They didn't think Wrightsell touched him at all. The replay looked like it was an old Baptist dance when we used to go to the church dances. Wrightsell left a little room for Jesus in there, but they still called him for the foul.
He still got called for the foul. Great stuff.
Glad they laughed. I don't know if the networks along the way liked it or not.
That's a pretty good line, though. Y'all don't forget to leave enough room for the Holy Spirit while you dance.
Dr. B brings us as part of the show today.
Hey, Dr. B is absolutely the man. When I started to thin out, asked around, Dr. Beckenstein is the name. Everyone mentioned my hair is more than doubled in thickness since our initial meeting. Call today. Schedule that consultation, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. T3hair.net for more information. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
How were you on home run calls back when you did baseball? Because the one thing I didn't want to do was to be the rookie that never did baseball and jumped on just a routine fly ball and start calling it like it was a home run. They hit 3 home runs in the first 3 innings of the game the other day that I thought were routine fly balls. I was going to be all calm. Like
can of corn.
Gage Miller, their leadoff hitter for Alabama in the bottom of the first, hit what I thought was going to be a routine fly. The wind was blowing out, and it kept drifting and drifting, and I am just popped up left center. Going back a little bit, he's all the way back on the warning track, and that's out of here. Home run. I mean, the calmest. It was like NPR doing baseball.
Our play-by-play guy is on morphine today. I don't know what's going on. We had wind blowing out at Elkhart Park one time, and there was 3 consecutive home runs that the Dusters hit.
But you could,
and
tell
you got to
off
be
the bat?
excited. Yeah, I could tell off the bat most of the time.
Yeah, by the second game, because I'd done so many innings, when they were hitting a home run, I was like, okay, that one's out of here. I can get into this one a little bit. But before that,
but there is nothing worse than the excitement of a home run call. And then, he's got it against the wall.
Yeah. So you feel like John Sterling at that point. It is high. Yeah, it is called.
I think there had been 7 home runs before I finally got one right. Rockstar got 11.
Hey, where are you on mybookie.ag about playing college baseball while you're calling it? Do you have to?
I did not make any bets on Saturday.
You didn't have the over.
I didn't have any of it. So look, this is game 1. Look at the score. It is 17-13. So I've seen a number of home runs by this point.
Well, you're not helping your cause with 2 cups there if you really can't go to the bathroom.
One is export LT. So here's this is the only one I recognized off the bat. It's going to be a home run.
They're going to shift now on the 1-2 up the middle. This one's jacked, hit hard. Going. Oh no! He's done it again. Another home run. Will Hodo takes that one almost to the entrance of Coleman Coliseum.
Who was filming you there?
They set it up. This is a sponsored thing. They've got them sponsored, so they have a camera on you the whole time.
So I'm assuming that was Chris's role before. He gets the football gig, and he's like, I can't do baseball anymore.
It's Roger Hoover's. But that guy's name is Hodo, and I don't know anything about any of the players, so the only thing I can think of is Hodo, he's done it again because it was his second home run of the game. Instead of oops, he's done it again.
Okay, I got it.
Hodo and oops sound a lot alike.
Let's do it, Rockstar. Hit it. Trash.
57, and to another woman who likes to be double-fisted in a different way, I think.
Wow. She means beer. Don't put me on YouTube. My God.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Well, we might as well start with this story after the intro there. You guys know much about Jelly Roll's personal life? I saw where he's coming to
a little bit.
Rock the South.
Jelly Roll, all you got to do is listen to his songs, Lance. You know he's lived a life.
Drinker, probably a little drugs.
Done some time.
Well, do you know anything about his wife?
I have seen her.
I've seen her. I could go book by cover, but I'm not going to.
Okay, well, here you go. I think you're probably spot on. Jelly Roll's wife, Bunny XO, is reflecting on leaving the sex work industry a year ago this week. On Facebook, model and entrepreneur, also known as Alicia DeFord, shared a post announcing she was shutting down her spicy OnlyFans site while she was on to, quote, the next bag at big time. Quote, year ago, I retired from the sex work industry. Bunny, 44 now, wrote, a little old to be in that industry, I would think. I was so scared to let go of that part of my life and leave behind the money I was making. Wasn't sure I'd make up that part of my business, but I had faith and I let God have it, and he made sure I made it back tenfold.
Oh, there you go. It's a good story. It's a good lesson in life right there. So, yeah, that family has lived a life right there. Her and old Jelly Roll. Yeah. I like his music, but boy, I tell you what, at some point he's going to have to sing a song that's not about him having a really tough life.
Yeah,
I mean, it's I get it, Jelly Roll. It's been a tough life on you.
Yeah,
we got a lot of songs from you.
One of those songs, and everything else I hear, it sounds like the same song.
Yeah, a lot of that.
But
I'm not a huge fan.
Taylor Swift made her bones really talking about breakups, did she not?
She did, but I mean, she's done some.
I mean, it was kind of an upbeat theme.
Same story, but to different beats.
Yeah.
So this not good. A Miami man was arrested after trying to, quote, flirt with a passenger by joking that he had a bomb in his bag at the airport.
Don't joke.
Really
Alan Berinsky, 70-year-old Miami resident, told police he was, quote, trying to be funny when he made the joke at the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport on Friday. Berinsky was sitting at gate G11 in Terminal 4, was overheard by two witnesses telling a passenger, quote, if my bomb goes off in my bag prematurely, I apologize to your family in advance. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, people don't get jokes. I was going into Oak Mountain one day, and the security guard stopped me as I was setting up, and he said, do you have any weapons? And I said, what do you need? He did not like that.
That's a good
Hey, by the way, what you just showed me, I heard that guy is doing stand-up now, and like maybe the least funny person I've ever met in my life.
Would actually pay to watch, though.
But sometimes if you got a dry sense of humor, it can be funny.
Yeah, I don't
like
think
that.
There's only so many Stephen Wrights.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Stephen Wright.
Yeah,
that'd be the way he should play.
You think that's going to happen?
Yeah. Why do I park in a freeway or whatever? Park in a driveway and drive in a parkway.
Yes.
Berinsky did acknowledge he, quote, knew what he said was wrong, but also continued to do so. He was arrested, released from jail on a $7,500 warrant.
$7,500 sounds light.
You know, when we fly, my youngest likes to do everything herself. She likes to, put the bag on the scale, put the tag on the bag, scan her own.
It's good training, though.
Yeah, she wants it on her own phone so she can scan the boarding pass and all that, go through security, all those things. And she was making a joke as we were approaching security, like, I'm a kid. It's not like I got a bomb in my bag. And I was like, no, we don't make that joke. Yeah, so I know what you're saying, but we don't make that joke.
Did anybody turn around?
Oh, no. I mean, she was basically just saying it to the family there. It was well before we were to
learn lessons early, right?
Yeah, the old gate.
A woman broke into her ex-boyfriend's house and went, I'm just reading directly, hog wild, according to deputies. Lee County Sheriff's Office deputies said that Akava Reddick dumped pickled pork all over her ex's couch. Yikes. When the deputies arrived, Reddick chucked a 2-liter container of Sprite at her ex, drinking the good product, though.
Pickled pork is like, that's like pig's feet?
Yeah, you see them like in a old country convenience store, the red.
That's going
to leave a stench.
That's got to stink to high hell.
You burn the couch.
It says a wink on the thing. It looks like she's trying.
Yeah.
We've got a common friend that we'll say he used to have a drinking problem, and he was in what we would call a toxic relationship. But I remember one night where they got in an argument, and he decided that it was a good idea to put chocolate syrup on, I'm talking everything in the apartment, from car keys to plants to her dog.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that was the last time though.
A lot of chocolate syrup there.
That ended the relationship finally. Yeah.
Yes. I would imagine so. I don't see how one survives that one.
Was there a pass between them and chocolate syrup? Is that why
I really don't know? Syrup? I never got that backstory. Prosecutor this week charged Loren Farello, 55 years old, and Karen Kasbaum, 63, with theft and gross abuse of a corpse, both felonies in connection with their alleged activities after the death of Douglas Lehman. Now, according to police, two women were not related to Lehman, but lived with him in his home about 50 miles from Cleveland. Cops say the two women, with the help of a third individual, removed removed his corpse from the residence on Monday, placed the body in the front passenger seat of the car, then headed to a nearby bank drive-through window. The bank police had previously accompanied or allowed the women to withdraw money from Lehman's account as long as he was accompanying them. On March 4th, the teller apparently was unaware that Lehman was dead when the women pulled up and successfully took out $900.
We're going to need it all this time, man.
All of that for $900.
Yep. Investigators charged that the women placed Lehman in the vehicle in such a manner that he would be visible to bank staff in order to make the withdrawal. They then drove to the medical center where they dropped off Lehman's body and departed without providing any information about the man or themselves. Woman said Lehman died inside of his house. His cause of death is under investigation.
I hope for $900 they didn't off him.
Yeah, I believe we have the two prime suspects. What do you think?
The one on the left looks mean as hell, and the one on the right looks crazy.
Yeah, looks like she's dumb enough to follow along. Did they joke when they were there? Oh, Dave, man, that smell. Sorry, he's a little gassy today. We'll need those all 20s, please.
We're spending the weekend at Dave's.
Yeah.
Okay, when we choose music, we often choose music by people who we think are like us. A 2020 study showed the research based on 80,000 fans and 50 famous musicians asked fans to give personality ratings for the public persona of each artist and found that people naturally gravitate towards artists that are similar to themselves. So Marvin Gaye fans tend to be agreeable, like the public persona of the musician, where Ozzy Osbourne fans seem to be a little more disagreeable and obnoxious. Now, a 1997 study by the journal Personality and Individual Differences found that men are more likely than women to enjoy music with exaggerated bass. So are extroverts. They also say people who are psychotic like the exaggerated bass. Real life psychopaths are not like the classical music loving Hannibal Lecter, or actually more to enjoy retro rap. No Diggity and Eminem's Lose Yourself are enjoyed by people with the highest scores of being possible psychopaths.
Isn't that your favorite genre?
It is.
Mine too.
Yep. I've heard this about No Diggity before. That was the number one Psycho song. Have you heard that?
No, but that's I hate rap, but I don't mind No Diggity.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those things, like I can listen to that.
Speaking of music and bands, Rockstar has pulled some origins of how bands got their name. This is interesting. Green Day. You guys want to guess how Green Day got their name?
I am going to say it was the first time they played a show for money. They got the green. It was a Green Day.
Oh, I like that. That's a good guess, Brownie. I'm going to say they.
It's a little more simple than that.
I'm going to say they liked M&Ms and they liked the green ones.
I'm going to say they're all vegetarians.
They launched on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. What was it, LT?
It was all about weed. Green Day is a day spent doing nothing more than getting stoned. According to frontman Billy Joe Armstrong, quote, "We were trying to be Cheech and Chong of punk rock for a while."
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Drugs, sex, and alcohol are going to factor into a lot of these, I'm afraid.
Jane's addiction. Jane is a real person. Remember, we were going to do a little... little end segment.
Jane says.
Yeah, that was going to be awesome. Yep. Now, Jane Banter, a one-time Hollywood housemate of Jane's Addiction's frontman Perry Farrell, she really did have an addiction to heroin, and her misadventures with a drug-dealing boyfriend inspired the '88 classic Jane Says. Hootie and the Blowfish.
This is interesting because, unfortunately for Darius Rucker, he does not like to be called Hootie. And that's what a lot of people know him as
Hootie!
Because he was the lead singer, right? Now, I don't think he's... Rockstar, I've never read a story where he's like belligerent about it, but I think he...
No, but I'm sure it gets old. But
yeah.
I'll take the paycheck.
Yeah. Is that bad? I can tell what kind of T-shirt Hootie's wearing.
It's Darius. What is Darius wearing?
That is Cotton Citizen.
Okay.
The best feeling T-shirt in the world, in my opinion.
Are they soft?
Very soft.
Yeah.
Now, the band actually refers to two friends Rucker had while attending the University of South Carolina. One wore big glasses and looked like an owl. The other had puffy cheeks. Two once walked into a party and Rucker called out, "It's Hootie and the Blowfish," and the rest is history.
Oh, I like that.
And then finally, Weezer. Weezer frontman Rivers Cuomo
had asthma,
named his band for a childhood nickname given to him by his father. Cuomo's dad got the unusual nickname from a character on The Little Rascals. I said, "Why him?" Cuomo explained in 2022 on Conan O'Brien's podcast, and he said, "Because he's the cool one."
Oh,
I mean, I do wonder sometimes. I've brought this up to Rockstar before. Like when you name a band, do you ever think, hey, we are going to be, with this name, guys, we're going to be the biggest band out there?
Goo Goo Dolls have expressed that, saying it's the worst name ever. Rob Thomas says, I absolutely hate Matchbox 20. That is the worst name. And
Foo Fighters, right? They don't like
Dave Grohl was like, it was just an experiment. It was just me in my basement. I just put it out as Foo Fighters because I didn't want to put Dave Grohl.
But I mean,
now I'm stuck with it for life.
But if they're successful, I mean, when have you said, man, that's a terrible band name? It just,
I know.
It fits.
Like Leonard Skinner named their band after their PE teacher. I mean, do you really think that when they name
now? Yeah.
I know. I mean, but that seems like a terrible idea to name a band after your PE teacher.
Look, I had this conversation over the weekend. How long it took us to come up with our name until Nancy came into that meeting and kind of laid it out.
It's hard to do.
And we whiteboarded it.
We were lost.
We went to a steakhouse, and there was like 8 of us, and we sat there for like 3 or 4 hours, and we couldn't come up with anything.
We didn't even come away with one. We're like, okay, if nothing else works out, we'll use this one.
Well, see, sometimes the change is good because Creed, before they were Creed, Scott Stapp said we decided to do our band name. We actually played it for a while. Was Naked Toddler, and they said that looks bad on marquees. You got to change your name.
I just randomly the other day was driving down the road, and that one hit by Sixpence None the Richer came on.
Kiss Me?
Yeah, Kiss Me. And I thought
they overthought it.
I mean, there's no way you name yourself that and think we're going to be the biggest band of all time.
The Wet Sprocket?
Yeah, that's how Toad the Wet Sprocket, Big Head Todd, and the Monsters. You sit there, you're overthinking it a little bit at that point.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be at that point the Eagles or the Rolling Stones.
But
or
I
the
don't
Beatles.
But meanwhile, U2, I mean, ends up being pretty good.
I mean, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers sounds awful. Like if you didn't know anything about them, but it made sense once they got there. Yeah.
I guess it's just really based on how good you are.
That is Trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Tell us about Mortgage Right.
Buying a home, a major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with the friends at Mortgage Right who do mortgages the right way. 205-815-9200. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, and we're excited about our coverage coming up from Nashville, brought to you by our friends at Autograph, and Autograph now part of the show. If you're not familiar with Autograph, let me tell you about it. We're excited to be working with Autograph, co-founded by the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. The Autograph app is where your fandom lives right now. The app will give the hardcore fans like you access to all the best college sports content, fan challenges, and exclusive rewards right there, like some crazy discounted tickets, exclusive merchandise, and a lot more. You can unlock rewards like these just for doing the things you already do as a fan, like listening to this podcast, following news on your team, sharing your favorite content, and a lot more. All you have to do is download the free Autograph app. It's absolutely free. When you go to the Apple App Store, use the referral code TNR. That stands for the next round for us. Referral code TNR. And you download the Autograph app today in the Apple App Store. It's free. Promo code TNR. And we'll see you at the game.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Here we go. Michelson bringing us the last segment right here. Tell us about Michelson, LT.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to write down. A lot of people getting tax refunds from Uncle Sam. Spend it on something important like your vision. You've been procrastinating for a long time. Do what I did over 20 years ago. Call 205-969-8100. MichelsonLaserVision.com. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind at the aid of contacts. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the call today. Ask for Amy. Ask her about the pre-inflation pricing and tell her the Next Round sent you. 205-969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Drake, Stetson, and Longwood all got automatic bids yesterday. Tonight, Sanford gets the automatic bid if they can win their SoCon championship game, 6 p.m. on ESPN. Sanford, the regular season champs, 28-5. If they don't win, don't think they get in. Big game happening tonight. In the women's SEC tournament championship game yesterday, South Carolina beat defending national champ LSU. Back-to-back years, South Carolina has gone 32-0 and will be the number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament. But there was an incident where Camila Cardoso ended up pushing a smaller LSU player after some jawing and an altercation in a late foul with about 2 minutes going. And the young player from LSU, Flojo Johnson, who's only 5'10", Cardoso is like 6'8". She got pushed. Her brother jumps the scorer's table and comes onto the court.
Jumps onto the floor from the stands, over the scorer's table. Yeah, comes out of the stands.
So he comes onto the court, makes a slight contact with the South Carolina player, but then realizes what he's doing, and then also was pulled away by authorities. I had read he wasn't arrested, but Brown, you tell me that's not the case.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now, too.
According to ESPN.com's Brandon Zimmerman, the brother of LSU guard Flojo Johnson, was arrested and charged with assault and battery and disorderly conduct during the tournament tussle yesterday, and currently remains in jail. So nobody has posted bail.
Hey, he should. I mean, what's he doing jumping in the middle of a cat fight anyway?
No, terrible. But he shouldn't jump in the court anyway. And I was going to say, the not arrested part, when I saw that yesterday, that surprised me because you've got to set a precedent, I think.
There's no doubt. This is shanking the guy, to send a message. You cannot. I mean, it's bad enough when you've got court stormers, and even though Caitlin Clark and Kyle Filipowski oversold it, still it could have been a far worse situation in either one of those deals. That's bad enough. But when there is a fight and the game is not even over and you got a guy jumping out of the stands over the scorer's table into a fight, you've got to make an example out of that. Now, I'm sure
even if it's men on men, it doesn't matter. Even the women's game makes it look even worse.
Yes,
absolutely.
It does not matter. But I'm sure charges will eventually get dropped if this guy's got no past. I don't know that he does, but
well, South Carolina shouldn't have been in that situation. Tennessee the day before, and I'm sure you guys have seen it.
I have. What are they doing?
Well, you had fouls to give, too.
I mean, I don't know the girl that coaches Tennessee basketball. I know they have struggled to find.
It ain't Pat Summitt.
I know they've struggled to find anybody after Pat Summitt. But that might be a fireable offense. I don't even know what her record is.
73-71. They're up to whatever it was.
Yeah.
1-point-something seconds left. South Carolina's got it inbounded from midcourt, and they let one girl drift to the top of the key, basically, unguarded by anybody. They let her throw the ball into her, and she throws up and hits her first 3 of her career and beats them 74-73.
I mean, I get it's the first 3 of her career, but it is a wide open look.
And I didn't know they had fouls. You could just let her catch her catch and just tie her up at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I know with the time left on the clock, you always risk, the shot motion at that and putting her on the line, but I mean, you've at least got to defend.
Yeah. At least she's got to make two or three free throws at that point.
All right. Chase says Kelly Jolly, former Lady Vol herself, got to go. I mean, that is close to a fireable offense. You had the number 1 team against the ropes, and it was coaching malpractice down the stretch.
Yeah, there is. You never see a guy that is coaching men's take a women's job. But how good is that Tennessee women's job?
I really don't know.
Got to be better than some lower tier men's jobs, though, right?
I would think. I mean, it's SEC money.
I don't know what kind of money it pays
500
versus a lower men's job. I know. What's a lower? Give me a lower men's job. You're talking about like.
I bet I could make $1 million doing that job. So how many?
I would.
At Tennessee women, the crowd they put in.
If you were as good,
I know the crowd they used to put in.
Yeah, if you could put that crowd back, you'd be worth $1 million.
Yeah. I bet I could make $1 million doing that.
I mean,
job.
I think the LSU's paying the old girl they got from Baylor $3 million.
$3 million. Yep.
I think Dawn Staley at South Carolina, who's earned it, by the way, she's really good. I think she's $3 or $4 million.
She's making 3 or 4.
She's making close to what Lamont Paris is making, if not more.
Kim Mulkey was at my dog park yesterday. Hey, it looked just like her. Her dog was as mean as she was.
She's whipping the dog.
Did you hear what she said after the women's fight?
I had to leave the dog park.
I saw that Staley handled it better. I did not see what anybody said, but I saw in the chat room everybody was like, Staley handled it much better.
Make sure I don't have it. Okay. Kim Mulkey said, I wish you'd who's the bigger Angel? Yeah. I wish you'd pushed Angel Reese. I mean, you're 6'8". Push another big girl. Don't push somebody who's 5'10".
Yeah, that was the story.
That was her response.
I killed that chick 6'8".
I will never forget one incident changed my entire opinion about 2 coaches, and it was that big brawl that Cincinnati and Xavier had. Mick Cronin and Chris Mack. And Cronin handled it so well, and Mack was just so dismissive of it. And I never liked Chris Mack after that. Yeah. And I've always liked Cronin since then. Now,
yeah, that's really one of the worst things that can happen on your watch when you have a brawl that you can't control. Now, that didn't live up to that yesterday.
No, it did not. But for her to say, I wish you'd push somebody else, I mean, come on.
Harper makes $1 million a year, says David there. Kim makes $3.6 million down at LSU. Bobby says Tennessee played defense to the point South Carolina's 6'8" center had to go 23.3 feet away to hit her first buzzer of her career. That's not coaching malpractice. That's coaching genius, he says.
I lost you the game.
Bobby over in the chat room there. We appreciate all the comments, and we appreciate everybody who joined the show today, including Danny Kanell, T-Bob Hebert. You can get that all podcasted wherever you get your podcast. Video always at YouTube and our video platforms, broken down by our social media team, and also audio-wise at Spotify and Apple. Remember, like and subscribe wherever you watch us or hear us, and give us a thumbs up or a like. Until tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, God bless you and God bless America.